Hello everybody, welcome to this new live stream in the series where we're creating an entire game in C from scratch. You have seen everything from the game, all the way to the, starting from the first line of code, all the way to where we are now. And if you can see here on the screen, we are really close to releasing the game on Steam. And that's the main goal. Hopefully, today we're gonna either finish it or be very close to finish it, because I want to release it next week. So you guys heard it here first. I want to release that on the 20th of September 2019, which is pretty much 1 week from now. 1 week and 1 day, which is a Friday. And hopefully we'll be able to get done. So I do have to send that to Steam, so I have to count a couple days before that to finish everything. But the plan is to get as much done as possible today. There are just a couple things. We really have to fix the audio because we improved on that last time, but that was really hushed and it kind of broke down in the end of the last stream. So we're gonna fix that today pretty quickly, and have to do some small polishing passes, maybe a little bit of the difficulty and things like that. So if you want to follow along, you can download the game already on itch.io as well as the source code. So if you go to danzadan.itch.io/breakarcadegamesout and I click download now, you can download every episode source code from the very first one, which we had like just a window pop up and like a render or something. And you can download last episode, which was episode 22, and you're welcome to give me a tip. But if you want to, you can just click no thanks and then download whichever day you want. And you can watch the entire live streams, the whole development, on YouTube, which is youtube.com/danzadan. And if you come here in the making a game in C from scratch, all the way to Steam launch, right, series, you can watch from the very first episode all the way to where we are now. And yeah, last episode was episode 22. So this is episode 23. If this was the last episode of coding, if we manage to finish the game, we may only get to 24 episodes, which is okay. So if we have one more after this one of coding, we're gonna get to 25, because I wanna do like a release live stream that's gonna where we play the game on Steam, things like that. That can be pretty cool. Okay, so we're gonna get started, and yeah, let's see. Maybe this will be the last stream of coding the game. I don't know. I don't know what you guys thought about that. Hey, man, nice to see you here as well. Awesome. We were just about to get started, so let's go. Let's go to ForCoder. And let's start making the game. We have to fix the audio pretty quickly, and hopefully we'll be able to polish that. We did a lot of crazy stuff last time. Last time we made a config file and we parsed that, and that was pretty cool. Maybe you can add stuff to the config file as well today. That could be pretty cool as well. So if we go to the game, let's compile. Okay, everything's running nicely. And yeah, and we were about to review the audio system, because I don't know if you guys will be able to. Let me just see what kind of let me just load the project. Let me get the kind of build settings we're running. I'm gonna make that the debug build just so we can see the crash, because the audio is crashing a lot. Don't I have the Visual Studio project? Oops, it's supposed to be like, yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna turn up your volume. Yeah, see, so, well, we crashed right off the bat now. Well, I thought we were going to crash, but I wasn't sure we were going to crash that early. My own C program of the Argonaut games is on the stage of collision with the ball with blocks. That's awesome, man. Are you like making videos about it somewhere? That could be pretty cool. Oh, because we don't have debug symbols. Yeah, I'd love to see it. That'll be pretty awesome. We got 10 viewers already. Okay, so you guys will be able to see the game crash and burn, right? So yeah, oh, you're failing the load, probably. let's see our pack file. Yeah, we don't have a pack file. Because the truth is, I copied the project settings to another directory and probably didn't copy the pack file. We should, if this was supposed to be, yeah, videos on YouTube, drop the link, man. I'd love to see that later. That'd be pretty cool. If we were a more, like, I don't know, robust game, we should probably log or maybe put a message box or something if we can't find the assets. But if you can't find the assets, we might as well just crash. At this point, it's not that big of a problem, I think. And I'm just going to copy the data. Well, oh no, that's not a problem. I have to set the run directory. Yeah. Okay. So now we run. We're pretty slow because we are on a debug build. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make the game crash. But believe me, the audio is pretty bad at this point. Yeah. And since we're not optimized, it's already pretty slow as well. But at least it's playable. I mean, it's not like completely broken. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, the camera shakes pretty out of control. I don't know. Yeah, you guys can probably see that. Let me show you guys how the game actually looks. If I actually make that feasible for you guys to see what's going on. Let's see. So this is the actual game. Yeah, we were very close to releasing the game. Now we're talking, right? And I'm pretty sure we're still gonna crash in the audio. Those level transitions animations were really cool. See, we had a small bug. Yeah, there we go. We crashed. Hey Marcus, man, it's awesome to see you here. Really cool, because this may be the last coding stream before the release on Steam. Because we are already up on the Steam store page, which is pretty cool. For making such a small, I don't know, project, everything on live stream kind of project. It's awesome to finally be closed, and I'm probably going to release that next week. So everyone can add to the wish list to be notified. But it's gonna be free along with the source code. The source code is also going to be free on Steam. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's nice to see you here. So the audio system is pretty bad at this point. It's crashing, and it's really hard to see exactly what the problem is because it's a multi-threaded problem. I mean, this is optimized, right? I think. But the very idea of the way we are structuring is not working. But it still takes 20% of the GPU time. We have optimized the main game. We have optimized that, man. Oh, it's pretty cool now. Let me show you how much we're taking from it. So yeah, we are running here. Can you see that? It's the Win32 platform. Well, it's kind of a. Put this a little bit more to the side, like this. We are sleeping correctly, so we are taking like 1% of the GPU. So yeah, 1%, and it's entirely GPU. So we're taking 0% of the GPU. Oh, did I say GPU? I meant CPU. We're taking 1% of the CPU time and 0 of the GPU because this game is entirely software rendering. The whole thing. Because we added, we optimized that pretty well. There was one live stream. That was a pretty cool live stream where we focused on optimizing, and we managed that to run like five times faster in this optimizing the game. So we built a profiler for the game, made that run 5 times faster, and at some point, I don't know which point, we ended up making the locked frame rate. But I am going to add an option today to unlock it. I don't know, for some reason, to not vsync, because we're not properly vsync, because we're not using OpenGL. Advantage of C and pure Win32. Yeah, man, it's so much better. And we didn't even optimize that a lot. If we could have made that SIMD, which we would have gained at least 4 times speed, I think. And also multi-threaded, which we at least like twice as fast. So we could have got like 10x above that 5x that we've got pretty easily. But that's not really necessary. The game's running pretty well at this point. And well, yeah. And I don't want to really spend much time. Yeah, so we're spending like 1.3% of the CPU, 35 megs of memory, and like 0% of the GPU. new things to do maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I want to close this up because it's kind of long already. I mean, I'm not sure if I can see how many hours. Well, I can see how many hours I recorded here on my let's see, on my videos here. Let's see how many hours we already did. What? 74 hours? Is that correct? What? 74 hours divided by 22 episodes? About 3 hours per episode. This looks correct. Wow. Dude, this is a lot. 74 hours in this game. Well, but that was pretty cool. We added a lot of cool stuff, man. A lot of cool stuff. So I want to close that up. Probably today. Maybe next stream. So for the audio system, I want to change a couple things. First of all, in order to make this a little bit more not robust, but a little bit easier to understand, I'm going to not this. Yeah, this. No, this is wrong. This is the old one. Yeah. Let me just remove the old code from here. Okay. This thing here. Yeah, instead of just adding to the pointer like this, I'm going to just do that in 2 steps. Because since we are dereferencing a pointer, I think it's a little bit, it's more clear to just do the addition here and then add to the dereference pointer. But that's not the problem. The problem is we are running this on a separate thread. Even if you watch that the multi-threading episode, let's see, thread. What was that called? Parallel programming, making a job system, implementing. Yeah. Well, in one of these episodes, I think it was this episode, we made the audio run async. So we have 2 threads kind of fighting, and that's the problem we have. That's why we're crashing. This play sound thing, this thing gets called on one thread, which is the thread that wants to change the sound that's playing. However, it might as well be playing in the other thread. So we kind of zero that out, and we change like the active to true. We change the sound. We zero that before we do that. And as far as we know, this thread might be running, like reading from the other thing. So we can't zero that out like this. What I want to do is a very small lock, so that when the audio thread is processing the audio, I'm not going to change the audio. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna add a volatile bow, like playing sound maybe, or blocked. Yeah, blocked by thread maybe. Okay, and whenever we start playing this sound, well, if we can, right, I'm going to set the blocked by thread to true, but I can't set that. If you remember our multi-threading stream, what we did, we used the interlocked compare exchange. Yes, like this. That's what we need to do, because we need an atomic operation to try to change and read, because if you read and then change, the other thread might as well slip inside these 2 operations and do something else. That's why we need this atomic operation. This is one operation that's going to compare and exchange the values. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a let's see. I'm going to create a macro for that, because if you ever port this game to another platform, this is compiler specific. So compiler specific intrinsic. I'm going to define interlocked exchange. Pretty noisy outside. It's pretty noisy, pretty hot as well. It's pretty hot in Brazil usually, but today is especially hot. So it's going to take 3 values pretty easily. And then we can use the interlocked compare exchange here, the macro. Let's see, interlocked compare exchange. What do we call that? Interlocked compare exchange. Okay, and this is what we need to do at this point. We need like a volatile, the same thing, a volatile original, volatile B32 original. I can really even wrap that on its own block. If anyone has any questions, be sure to drop them on the chat. I'll try to answer that. And it's going to be the sound blocked by thread. And I'm going to create a volatile new value. And it's going to be true, because I want to set that to block. And then I'm going to do like interlocked equals interlocked compare exchange. Okay, and then I'm going to set the pointer. And you know what? I can also do this cast here, because I need to cast that to a volatile long, because that's what it takes. That's what it takes to parallelize. So, yeah, I'm going to sound blocked by thread. And then, I always forget the order of these guys, interlocked. The new and the original. So the new value and the original. Okay? And let's say if we didn't manage to lock, we should always lock, to be honest. That should always turn out to be true. So we can probably assert that at this point. Yeah. Because this is the only one that's going to change the value. The other one's going to read the value. It's going to read the value to make sure that it's not locked. So it's going to pretty much, we can do like a spin lock at this point at the play audio thing. So at this guy, I'm just closing the Discord channel that just popped up there. So what I'm going to do in the play sound here, which is the only place that we change the playing sound, which is the problem, right? Does it mean is that a CPU has 4 cores, the maximum amount of threads is 4, or is it possible to do more? Well, theoretically, if I have 4 cores, I probably have 8 hyperthreads, because that's the basic idea, right? Because the actual CPU core is what has, let's say, the LOU, right? The arithmetic logic unit, and there's like the floating point unit. There's all sorts of stuff here, the cache, right? This is inside a single core. And if I have like 4 actual cores on my CPU, what the CPU manufacturer usually does is create more hyperthreads. And a hyperthread is just the state of the CPU, right? So for each core, I can keep 2 states for that core. And the way they do this, because if like this guy is stuck on the ALU, for instance, is it really ALU? Just making a CPU ALU. I'm not sure if it's ALU. It's like arithmetic. Well, it doesn't even matter. It's just, yeah, ALU, yeah. So if like one thread is stuck on this guy and it needs that cleared, maybe the floating point unit is cleared. So what happens is it's gonna save the state of this hyperthread, or not even that. It's probably just going to get the command, like the instruction set from another hyperthread. So two instruction sets, 2 completely different pieces of code, right? And then it's going to execute this guy from this guy here, and then this guy here, and this the CPU does automatically. So the first part of the question is, if the CPU has 4 cores, I can probably have more hyperthreads. So if I go to my task manager and see my performance here, this CPU has 6 cores, but 12 hyperthreads. So I can execute up to 12 separate pieces of code, but it's not 100% separately, you know, because if both of these instructions need the same unit, it's not going to be 100% parallel. But in terms of cores, these guys are 100% parallel. The hyperthreads aren't. So this is 6 cores, 12 hyperthreads. Okay, so that's the first part. However, if you look down here, there's threads, and there's like 3,000 or something. These threads are OS threads, and the operating system, right? It kind of well, see, it's changing all the time here. The OS can keep a state for a specific thread of any program. So when we do here in the Windows, when we do the create thread, all we're doing is asking Windows for one of these guys. These guys. It's not one of these guys. It's just an OS notion of what a thread is. And this notion is just the state. So it's going to save this state. However, the OS is the boss here. If the OS says, okay, well, so I have like 200 processes running on this PC. So right off the bat, I can't have control over the actual CPU core all the time. So, and these processes are running like 3,000 threads. So the OS is the one that manages, okay, so they want to run a thread like this, or this process and stuff. So it's up to the OS kind of manage, right? Manage is the right word. Manage which process gets, well, which thread gets the actual core at what time. Okay? And for all we know, they can change that during our execution, right? So when the OS like changes what we're doing, it saves our state, our CPU state, to maybe run someone else's process and then go back. So the actual answer is, it's possible to do whatever number you want of threads, of OS threads, because the OS is going to manage that anyway. However, we don't actually want that overhead of the OS. So in the game, you want the number of threads exactly as the number of hyperthreads the user has, which is the number of actual CPU, not states, but the actual CPU concurrent operations that it can do, which is the number of hyperthreads, okay, which is 12 in this PC, because it has 6 cores, 12 hyperthreads, so we can probably do like 12 most, so the main thread plus 11. That's what we want to do. Okay, so now clear, thanks. No problem, man. I hope that was clear. And you can also watch the other stream where we go onto the actual programming, because it's pretty clear when we create the thread and stuff. But we can create like 10,000. And actually, Jonathan Blow does create 10,000 threads as the testing for his language. But that's OS threads, because the OS is gonna manage which ones the 10,000 is gonna appear at what point. We're gonna take ABC, and we're gonna call the interlock compare exchange. Okay. So at this point, we're gonna lock. Okay, and that's it. And at the play sound point, at this point, we can only do this if we're not locked. So we can probably like spin lock. We're gonna create like a volatile. I always have a hard time spelling volatile. Blocked. Okay, which is the result sound. Yeah, blocked by thread. Okay, and while we are blocked, I can probably sleep here or something. But I don't think we need to. We can probably print also. But I'm just going to set the block again. And what does volatile does here? And that's a pretty good point, because the OS and the CPU knows that this may actually be concurrent, right? But the compiler doesn't, because the memory is shared, right? The memory is shared, because these guys can access the sound just the same. So if it's not volatile, like none of these guys that I said as volatile, the compiler doesn't know that anyone can change that. Exactly. Then Luntek answers that. So the compiler will be like, okay, maybe this guy is created here, and then it gets set inside the loop, but nobody here is going to set the value. No one's going to change the value. So this is probably going to be optimized away, because the compiler doesn't know that in another thread, someone else might change the value with this compared exchange. So what the volatile does is state, okay, this variable may actually change at any time. And you can't optimize that because you don't know when it's going to change that. That's why we need that in this case. Okay. One more detail. For example, you have 12 hyperthreads. I have an i4 with 4 hyperthreads. Do we need our code somewhere to detect the number of threads to reduce this? Yeah. If you don't want to detect, you can just like ask for like 50 threads, whatever, and the OS will do the managing for you. But since games are very performance critical, usually games detect, and that's a pretty easy call to MSDN, but I can't remember right off my head which call is that. That returns the number of threads. And what we want to do is when we create a job queue, that we programmed another stream. When we create a thread here, create thread, we're creating like the number of threads, right? That we take as a variable. We will actually detect the number of threads in the computer, and then ask for that number of threads. This way, we're gonna have minimal OS overhead, but it's not necessary. But it's usually beneficial in performance systems, in case of games. So yeah. But it's very easy to ask for the exact number of threads because we're already managing that. We created the job queue and we are managing, like when you do like do next, let's see, next entry, entry. We are already managing here. See, we do the barrier and then we add the job to queue. Since we are doing all that work, we might as well call for the right number of threads and not have the OS doing this extra managing. Because the OS is pretty slow, I mean, in terms of talking to us. Okay? Hopefully that was clear. And, well, we're going to have to test that. We might have broken the entire thing, but hopefully not, because that was pretty simple. I mean, just to review what we did, whenever we start playing the sound, we're locking the sound. Oh, we actually have to clear the lock. We also have to clear the lock. So after we finish playing the sound, right, which is, let's see, this 4 is the actual end. Yeah, at this point, we can clear that. So it was good that we reviewed it. He was wrong. Your macro is invalid, I think. Well, it was invalid, but I'm pretty sure I fixed that. So inner log to compare exchange takes ABC, then it calls inner log to compare exchange, ABC, casting the volatile long. Okay, yeah, it was wrong. I originally typed this, and then I complained about not knowing what ABC was. Thanks. Nice catch, man. Yeah, I did a pretty quick fix. Okay. So we lock that in the compare exchange, and then we unlock that when we finished copying the sound to the sound buffer. Okay. And when we play the sound, if the sound that we managed to get is actually blocked, we wait. So we spin lock. This is going to run like a lot. It's going to burn the CPU here. But since this is pretty fast, we're going to at most do like, I don't know, 500 samples. It's going to be pretty fast. This is not going to lock for a long time. If we were supposed to lock for a long time here, we could probably think about a better solution, but this will be good enough for now. Okay, so while it's blocked, we're not going to do anything. Then it's going to unblock it. Okay, and we could probably, first of all, we could probably test the game, right? And then we can just put a breakpoint here to see at some point if we tried actually getting a locked sound. That would be cool to see, because that's probably what causes audio artifacts, in our system at least. Okay, so let's pray everything works properly. Why not using the OS solutions for synchronization? We could. We are using a semaphore here. There are a ton of... Yeah, you are correct. We could use a... well, in the Win32, we do create a semaphore here. Yeah, to help with the waiting. So the OS will wake our thread when it's running. So we are using... But we could have made a mutex here. But you know what? These kinds of locks are so simple that I might as well just create them from scratch. Because see, that was pretty cool. That was pretty easy. That was not hardly a lot of code, right? It's also pretty uniform across OSs and stuff. So in this case, I usually like to do that. But in our job system, we did create a semaphore, which was very useful for the waiting system. I think semaphores and mutex are pretty heavy. Yeah, you do want to avoid that. I think critical sections are okay. You know what? I'm gonna have to read up on that. Critical sections, is that specific to Windows? Critical sections objects. Okay, yeah. Issue critical sessions. Exact. Yeah, mutex objects. So I am going to have to read up on that because I'm not very familiar with those. Usually I just create the semaphore for our queue because if we are supposed to sleep in our queue, then I let the semaphore wake us up. Because normally, if we have a lot of stuff to do, that means that if you are critical, yeah, in this case, we're not even going to do anything with the semaphore, because this is only called if we are supposed to sleep. And if you are supposed to sleep, we wait an infinite amount of time for a new job. In this case, I think that was a pretty good solution, I suppose, in this case. But yeah, another problem with those objects is that it really depends whether they're performing critical or not. So you say mutexes are performing pretty heavy, but a lot of games use mutexes all over the place. So to avoid this kind of ambiguity, I just rather create the lock ourselves in spin lock, which was very easy to do with that a while here. Let's see. I'm kind of nervous to see if it's gonna work or not. Let's see. Okay, so we do have audio, and it sounds pretty correct. Let's see. Okay, let's see. It's gonna be crazy. Okay, that was a pretty big failure. But I think we are back to normal. We are gonna have to test that for a bit. Let's see if that crashes or anything. That may have been a success. Yeah, we have tons of stuff playing, and it sounds perfect. It's pretty cool seeing the result. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome because the whole thing was a live stream. By the way, what are the numbers in the main menu? The number is the high score. Because we have a save system. So my highest score on this level was 1200. Which is pretty good, actually. This level is 42,000. Because this level is crazy. Just craziness. So yeah, those are the numbers. They're not centered, so see, this looks pretty bad. And that's another thing we can do today. Let me just go back now that we fixed this. This was a major problem. It was crashing all over the place. Looks like you're a pro in Space Invaders. Well, to my defense, there's tons of power-ups on this level. And it's also Breakout Space Invaders, not actually Space Invaders, right? Because this game is like Breakout all over the place. So see, I can rack up points pretty easily. Because I have tons of power-ups. Yeah, look at that. Already got to 9,000 and I hardly did anything. Okay, so it did crash. I have a problem staying motivated when I work with software projects. It's pretty hard, man. It's not easy. When I worked on my big project, which was 3.5 years of development, I had. Let me show you. that was pretty tough. So this project, I worked the first year by myself. Then for 2 years, I had a team. And then for the last 6 months, I worked on myself again. And even this project, which is a huge project, was created using Unreal and stuff, I had motivation problems. Yeah, and the problem is, I had thoughts about quitting the game, even like 6 months before release, man. After 3 years, I was still thinking about quitting. I was like, oh man, I can't work, that's too hard, it sucks, everyone's gonna hate it. So it's really hard to stay motivated, even on projects that apparently look pretty nice, and that projects that have been working for a long time. What I suggest that you do Also, Shingo says that it's procrastinating right now. And I also have like very big waves. Like I have huge waves of demotivation and huge waves of motivation. And what I have to do is kind of I don't know, bang yourself against the wall to try to work, right? But it's pretty hard. So the way I like to do it, that's not like very hard on me, and also it's pretty good, is that I try when I'm not very motivated, I try to make it like a game jam or something. Uh, I did the let's see, but I did the community game jam, which was like a couple of weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, and I did this game for the community game jam, and that was pretty cool. I did that from scratch, and see, and what I also did is pretty cool. It's like a small RTS game, and the thing about game jams is that you can go to like the forums, and I created a thread. I'm not going to define the thread now because there's tons of threads after that. But I created a thread like share your progress here, and then I could like keep working, and then like seeing everyone's progress, and then keep working. So I managed to I don't know to get a lot of motivation on that week. So I suggest small projects like game jams, like two-day game jam, or at most 1 week. 1 week still a lot. You still can get a lot of procrastination in 1 week. But 2 days you can't do anything else, right? Yeah, I worked so much for like a month or two on this project, but something broke my momentum, and that's it's a big struggle since. And you are correct because motivations can only help you so far. This project, the big one that I worked on, this one. Imagine for 3.5 years, I had all sorts of like huge productive months and like super non-productive months. The important thing to do is to just keep on the project despite those problems. But the problem is, sometimes you did actually get in Portuguese there's a saying like too much sand for your truck, right? That you try to eat too much, right? I don't know if that's in Portuguese. I really remember on a side project, but this project is already a side project itself. Yeah. Well, there is kind of a rule that you can only do side projects smaller than what you have already shipped, right? Otherwise, it's going to keep you making side projects, right? Like you said. But yeah, if it's like a small 2-day project, like a game jam, I think you can pretty much do that as a side project. But yeah, a big side project, you said that you worked for a month or two, pretty motivated. So I suggest tackling smaller projects. Then you can finish them. And this project itself, I've been doing it. This project, I've been doing it for a little over 2 months now, and 74 hours, right? It's pretty hard in terms of motivation because I have to do that on live stream. So I have to like get a couple hours free on my time because this is a hobby as well as a side project. It's not my work or anything. I have to get that hours free, and then I can only work on the game on the live stream. So it's pretty hard. You can every time go deeper on side projects. The number is unlimited. Yeah, exactly, man. That's how to keep aware. Yeah, it's just going about smaller and smaller, but I have no interest in easy small projects. I have the same problem. This this project, I don't know if you guys can see. It's called Iliosis. I'm going to drop that link in the chat. This game, at that time when I created, which I wasn't very into indie games at that. I was like AAA, huge project stuff. This was like the smallest project I was happy creating, right? What do you do for a living? I have a software company, so I program for a living, but it's not games. It's just random enterprise RPA kind of software. I've done a few projects where I have a functioning game after a day or two, but they just lie around unfinished. And this is the big problem, because making games, it's not that hard, but shipping games is really hard. And it's kind of interesting to think about it, because like this game I created like in 1 week, the live stream game, whenever it kind of closed. Yeah, this game. It's a pretty big game. I mean, it has like you have like an army of guys. Let me show you guys the trailer. Well, it's gonna be too small, right? Yeah. You have like an army of, and there's like combat, and there's like procedural maps, and then you can type stuff on the map to see what you learned about. There's like correct clues, and there's like false clues. There's a huge game. And I did that in 1 week alone, from scratch, right? But the problem is getting that to a robust, shippable form is really hard. If you this game on live stream that we are creating now, if you watch the live streams in order, by day 2, we had the basic gameplay, and by day 3, we had like a solid gameplay. And by day 6, the entire game was functionally done. I mean, we did make another level later on, but the basic idea was done by day 6, which is like, I don't know how many hours, like 15 hours, whatever. However, we're still in episode like 23, and we haven't released the game yet. So it's really hard, man. I guess the side project is on the 100th iteration. We look like creating like a simple function to calculate the sum of two numbers. What? Yeah. Well, I don't know. So it's kind of hard. You do want to tackle a game that's easy enough to ship, right? Because you do want to ship because it's pretty hard, but it's pretty worthwhile. To be honest, to see the game on Steam is pretty awesome. So you do want to create a huge game in this case to ship it, but you have to fight that force. So I don't know. I also have that conflict, man. I really want to do like a bigger game like this again, but it is going to take at least three years of my life. So you have to be financially stable, emotionally stable. I don't know, knowledge-wise stable, right? You have to be confident in creating that with the tools that you want. So with that in mind, I'm confident of creating smaller projects because of this, because I don't want to tackle a big project now, especially a side project. But yeah, the thing is, find small things that interest you, and then work on those. Like this game is pretty simple, but it was a cool idea to implement like smaller arcade games inside the breakout game. So that was what interested me. So that's what I decided to focus on, and that was pretty cool. And that's enough to motivate me. And one thing's gonna feed on another. Like when I have the page on Steam, I'm like, okay, so now I do have to release the game, right? So yeah, incremental steps is better than big motivation boosts. So that's the main thing about motivation. You do want to get, because making games are a process, not an event. It's not like, I'm going to make a game, then I do make the game. No. So I'm going to orient my life into making this game. So this is the big thing. That's why a lot of people have post-release depression. And I didn't have like a full-on depression, but I was pretty empty for a couple weeks after the game released. Because for in order to release this game, and really, we didn't have any budget or anything like that. It's like super indie. And in order to do that, I had to orient my life 100% in order to do this, right? So my life was this game. And when I finished it, I was like, okay, now I don't have a life anymore because my life was making the game and the game's done, right? So even smaller projects, you do have to orient your lifestyle around that to get it finished. So, and that really solves the procrastination thing, because sometimes you do have big motivation spikes to get started, and those are great. But in the end, it's a process of like iterating that every day. So we did crash again, which probably means that we either didn't solve 100% of the problem or something else. For some reason, I can't look at the sound. Oh, I can probably pass ZO for more information, or I can just build a debug build, because we do have to take a look at that. We have to see if our lock worked correctly, because the idea is pretty solid, I think, of what we did. Maybe Gabe is already searching to ask you to work on Valve. I don't know, man. Maybe I can work on Half-Life 3 for 3 lifetimes, right? And then it'll be done. But like 2,310%. Funny, I don't know if I'd work at Valve anymore. You know what, to be honest, man, I really like making games as a hobby. Because, like I said, making games is awesome. Releasing games is not awesome. So, when you work as a hobby, you pretty much are on creation mode most of the time, right? However, when you work for a company, or if you are on a serious indie project, you do have to be on release mode a lot. And that's where it becomes really hard in terms of motivation. I think it's great at Valve with that mentality. Okay, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna send my resume or whatever. Okay, so we have to see that crash, man. And we got that a lot better, to be honest. Oh, we probably had a breakpoint. You know what, I'm also going to add a breakpoint on the audio. Let's see line 56. Let's see. Just so we try to, yeah, so at this point, we try to read a blocked audio. Let's see if this makes sense. We are playing this position at this volume with a fading speed, with this pan. This looks correct, to be honest. Now, the block should now not be blocked anymore. See, now it's not blocked, so because it's probably finished playing for that iteration. So then we just zero that out. That looks correct. To make sure you mention you're terrified of number 3. And like the other two, this is also what you want to mention on your CV. I don't know, man. I probably would learn a lot by working on a company like Valve. But I don't know if I like the idea of, like, I don't know, working on as an employee for a big game studio. I don't know. Not at this point, at least. So if we crash now, the problem is that, so we didn't crash. So we managed to survive a blocked pass. So the block system is working correctly. We're both like blocking and unblocking. We're gonna have to see that crash anyways. And why because we have like tons of asserts at this point. And the asserts make sure that if we change the value during that, we probably add like a volatile keyword to the sound. And since we are changing the value, it's probably by another thread. But now we just lock that, so we can't change that by another thread, to be honest. Oh, I would still rather work at Valve than other big studio. You're probably correct. Probably Valve is on the list of studios kind of worth working on, at least. I think we may just have to keep on working on the game. And whenever we see on debug mode, right? And then whenever we see the crash, we stop, try to fix that. I think that will be the plan. Looks like you've created a fucking roguelike Arkanoid. With this difficulty, man. Really? Think's that hard? Tetris may be a little bit too hard, though. Let me see if I can beat Tetris. Well. Oh, man. Okay. That was a waste of a life. Dude. Let's see. Okay. And this is debugged, so it's not running 100%. But we're still hitting the 60 FPS. Yeah. But the thing about the way we are syncing, since we are not asking for the OpenGL or something to sync for us, we may actually be sleeping through the virtual blank, the vertical blank. So it's not the best way to synchronize anyways. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't know, man, it's kind of hard. Oh yeah, I was supposed to change this difficulty, to be honest. Oh, wow. Okay, let's keep going. One more life. I think I'm gonna add fewer blocks in Tetris in the end. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to kind of keep an eye on audio just till we finish the other things that we need to do. Make the fade win more evident. Oh, I don't know, man. This kind of feel stuff. We could spend like years working on these small filters, making the player spin tighter, get the mouse not to reappear. I don't know. Review the size of the player. I'm not a big fan of this. This wrong thing. I think we may have finished it. Like, is this wrong? Oh no, it's not. It's not wrong. So we may think. By the way, it's an open source music from somewhere. I created that myself. I'm kind of learning that how to make music. So That's pretty cool. And because I made that myself, I could make like a, let's see, I could make like the menu. Well, you can hear that. There's the menu music and the gameplay. It has like different nice features and stuff. So yeah, the music is 100% mine. I didn't want to fuss with like licenses and stuff because I want to distribute the game for free, right? Nice. Yeah, thanks. Well, it's really helpful to learn how to make music. Not only to do like small one-man projects like this, but also because when you understand about music, things like timing and game feel becomes really clear because music's like 30% about rhythm, right? So knowing that really helps to make like good feeling animation and synchronization as well. We didn't do a lot of sync. Maybe we didn't do any sync at all in this game. But in the other game that I have on itch.io that you can play and take a look. Let's see. I did do a small this game. I did do a small system where the music kind of changes every quarter note. This is why you have the drum behind. Yeah, I do have a electronic drums. It's pretty cool. Although I haven't used it for creating music for games though yet. Let's see. I only created like music, electronic music. I just click around the dot to create. So yeah. So we consider that this may be wrong. Let's just take a quick look on the other system that we can actually review. So, and this is probably also wrong. We probably don't need to run this before. Yeah, this may be wrong. Instead of like pre-calculating the synced sounds, we can probably just do it here. Like if you're supposed to play this sound, then we sync. I think I'm gonna do this. This way we can eliminate this loop, and then we can only do this after the lock. Okay. I think this will work. In order to be 100% synced, I have to make sure that the synced sound is actually after this guy, correct? Because if I start playing this sound, and then the synced sound, and then this one, well, I don't know, I don't think it's gonna matter. Anyway, this sync is really for the menu and the other, the menu and the gameplay music, so it's not 100% perfect. If we're supposed to play like two tracks on top of one another, then we want to have a pretty synced system. Let's see if it's pretty synced. No, we're broken. We broke that. We changed the position and the speed multiplier. If you are synced, if I remove this synced thing, we're not going to be synced at all. Let's see. But we still sound synced. And the reason we sound synced sound. Yeah, we zero this out, and then we comment this out. And the reason we will sound synced is because we play, let's say, play music. Let's see, play sound. Yeah, so we play the main music and the menu music pretty much together. So if this gets run, like, this is the amount of delay we're gonna have. So we may actually not care about the sync thing, to be honest. But why was that wrong? We're setting the position and the synced. If I happen to do the other way around, to play the, which one is synced? The menu is synced to the main. So if I play the main after this one, yeah, this is correct. Because in this iteration of the loop, I'm going to see the position of the synced sound, which I haven't updated yet. Then update this guy, then update the sync sound, and then they should be the same. So let me just hear if that makes sense, then we can put an assertion here. So yeah, that was perfect. Yeah, so we worked on that just by changing the order. And then here we can pretty much assert that we're gonna run through this sound first. So we're gonna assert that sound is greater than sound, sound synced. So I'm just testing for the pointer position. And actually this is the other way around. So I first have to update myself and then the sound. So let's see, this should not assert. Perfect. But if I do the way that I was doing, like this, I should probably assert. Yeah, and I do assert. So this is correct. It's kind of a pretty bad limitation for the system. So probably if you want to expand this game, I should probably review the way sync sounds work. But this will work pretty nicely, I think, for now. We're gonna get sync sounds, and then we're not gonna have, and this may actually work because this loop was not locking, and we were changing the sound here. So that crash that we had, this was probably the culprit. Okay, so by just doing this guy and just running and doing the lock here and the unlock here, we can make sure that we operate on the sound on this thread inside the locked sound. And the other one we just set the active and stuff. This we can do with no problem. What we can do is set the sound, so that would cause a crash. And we only do this in the play sound. So I think now this is a pretty solid system. We do have to review that is this wrong thing. But I don't think we're gonna crash anymore. And those are some strong words. But I don't know. I am willing to bet that this game will not crash because of that audio system anymore. And that's what we want, because we want to release the game, and we don't want to release the game crashing, right? That's perfect. It's pretty solid. The collision's pretty solid. Everything looks solid, man. I think we're getting pretty close to release. So let's see if is this wrong really. So this is just getting the sample. What sample we want to run? So the sample is the sound position, a clamp between 0 and the sound sample count minus. So this I'm not sure it's correct. The sample count minus this channel minus 1. Oh, okay. Because yeah, I think unfortunately it's about a night here in Europe, so I'm going to bed. Bless you. Yeah. And I'm going to see this later on YouTube. Good luck, and keep going. See you. It's awesome, man. Thanks a lot for dropping by. It was awesome talking to you, man. Have a great night. It's pretty bright here in Brazil still. It's around 5:30. Yeah, it's pretty early. You can do a lot of programming still. Okay, so I hope to see you later. Maybe this is gonna be the last stream. I don't know. If you keep crashing, we're gonna do one more cleanup stream. But I'm pretty confident that was the problem. This other loop was the problem. Okay? So I can probably document this. I clamp that to the sound to this. Because I add more, because I get samples, I get more samples based on the sample count. Based on the sample count. I won't say this, but I pray for it crashing, for more crashing. Yeah, okay. But I don't know, man. Even if this game is done, I can probably do more games live. I'm not sure I'm gonna do an entire game live anymore because that was pretty hard. This may actually be the only entire game I did on a live stream, but I do want a live stream from time to time. Although I am gonna have at least one more live stream for this game, which is the release one. I'm not sure. I think this is gonna be the last coding live stream, but we may have one more. A crash is good. This way you know that there is a problem. And no, I'm going to add to that. I'm going to say that crashing is good because this way you are sure that there's a problem, because you probably know there's a problem, because there's always a problem, right? Right now we're not sure because we did crash, so we knew there were a problem, but then we changed this, so now we don't know if there's a problem, right? So you are correct in this sense. It's kind of a gloomy scenario, right? Not very bright in this sense. Okay, so another question is, should I do like a floor or a clamp? And the question is, I don't think it matters most, so I don't think I'm gonna remove that is this wrong comment. And I'm going to say that this is wrong. So I'm going to clamp to this guy. And instead of clamping, for every buffer I clamp, instead of clamping, I could just probably, well, I could probably just loop again. But this is for every sample. So I could assert, probably, that this doesn't go through. But to be honest, one sample problem is not going to sound that bad at all. So, but at least we think about, we double checked about this max value. So we can remove this. Is this wrong? Make full screen launch prettier. I think we can remove that because I think it's pretty enough. I tested that on stream. I can show you guys on Steam. I'm going to open up Steam. And I can show you guys the game launching on Steam. Let me just make sure that you guys can see the full screen. That's not the full screen. Let's see. Which one? Yeah, this is the full screen. Let's see. See? First of all, that was super fast. A super fast startup. Super fast. So that took a little longer. And we have like one frame of a white screen. We could make it like a black screen instead of a white screen, but who cares, man? That was so fast that the full screen startup is perfect, I think. So I'm gonna call that a day. So not a day, an item. So save and quit. I don't think I'm gonna need to save and quit because we are saving. Let me see when we are saving. Save game. Let's see when we are calling save game. We call save game when we finish the level. Is that it? That's it. And since we only care, save game. And since we only change the save game when we change the level, so we're saving every time it was fixed. So the sound problem was, yes, it was fixed, so we can call that a day. So we had two problems, at least two problems. The first problem was the lock thing, and that solved. But we crashed again because we were looping here again. We had another loop like this that was testing for the sound sync. So this is what we had after we finished the lock. And this is probably, I'm going to say like 90% sure that this was the problem why we crashed. Because this was the same problem. We were changing the sound here. And as far as we know, we could have gotten like the active sound here. And then it was like, okay, it's active. However, then we would run this in another thread, and then we would clear the audio, and then we would try to access the synced sound and like the synced sound position stuff from the cleared. So this was really problematic. So now we are sure that this thread, whenever it tries to work on the sound, it locks the sound. So I'm going to call that fixed. However, I am going to keep an eye on the audio for this stream. See if we crash or not, but I don't think we will. Hopefully not. Save and quit. Don't need to save and quit. Make the players return the mouse cursor when it was before set. I don't know. The thing is, when we try to play that, let me make you guys full screen again. When we try, is it normal to Brazil that someone's screaming outside at 5 a.m.? Dude, it's 5 p.m. Look at the sun, man. Let me see if we can show you guys outside the window. I don't know. I don't have enough cable for that. I don't know if you guys can see. But it's a bright day outside. Well, now I'm not okay. So it's normal for people to scream outside Brazil at 5 p.m. because it's really hot today. Like really hot. I'm not even sure how hot it is. Let me see. It's probably gonna, maybe you guys come from like a hotter place, like temperature now. Let's see. Well, it says it's 30 with 26 degrees, 26% of humidity. So 30 degrees Celsius, which is like 87 Fahrenheit. And the maximum today was 92, and tomorrow's gonna be 93. So it's pretty hot. Everybody just play football. Exactly, man. It's like kids playing outside because it's really hot and people want to enjoy the hotness. And everyone's single Dan is sea coding, and the only what? And the only one single Dan is sea coding. What? Yeah, and you know what? I should probably get some more water because I'm sweating like a lot. But I really like the heat. I mean, if I didn't like the heat, I'd probably be miserable here because it's hot here. But yeah, I really like it. But it's pretty hot these days. Maybe a little more than like 93, 34. 34 is really hot. Oh my god. Okay, so testing the mouse position. So when we finish the game, the mouse goes back to the center of the screen. And we could probably save that and then return the mouse to that position. But to be honest, I don't think I care. Because the player's gonna focus on playing the game. It's not gonna remember where the mouse was. So this would be like a more robust thing. I don't know. More robust thing later on. Or maybe we could do that. I don't know. So I think I'm gonna do the center text thing. It's gonna be pretty quick. The problem we have, just so you guys see, is that our text is centered, like the Space Invaders, but our numbers are not. And this looks pretty bad. So in the menu, and I think I only care about that in the menu, I have draw number. Yeah. Let's see our draw number. Draw number. Okay, we set the P. Okay. And it's pretty cool because our number are fixed size, which is 4 times the square size, except for the number 1, which is 2 times. So we can pretty much pre-calculate that before. Yeah, since we don't have a lot of numbers anyways, we can probably just run through this twice, I think, and calculate the P and then offset the P. I think that would be the best call. Yeah. Like centered text. Okay, and if it's centered, let's see. If it's centered text, I'm gonna run through this thing. It's gonna be the same thing, right? However, I'm gonna test like if digit is 1, I'm gonna add subtract this guy from X. Otherwise, I'm gonna subtract this guy from X. Yeah, so false. This is for debug only, I think. False. Yeah, draw messages false. And this one is going to be true. This one will be false. False. And this one will be false as well. I think that's it. Let's see. Well, something was massively wrong. What happened? What happened? Oh, we have an infinite loop. Okay, that's funny because since we are the audio is multi-threaded, it runs perfectly, but we can't. Yeah, the game's not running. So we probably make a really bad job at copying that code. Software rendering while let's false. Let's see up here. Yeah, we do have to change this guy. Have to update the digit. Okay, that was probably the problem. Let's see. Okay, now we don't have any text. Yeah, because number. Yeah, so instead of number, I'm gonna do like n number, and then I'm gonna change number to n number. Well, not this guy. Number of leading zeros, and probably also number of leading zeros. Totally unpredictable behavior. Yeah, I'm also going to have to save the zeros. Number of leading zeros. This way I don't alter the actual state. Digit, yeah, just the P. But I think I got to the wrong place. I should have added that. Yeah, should have added that to center. No. Oh, it's half that. So subtract half of what I was supposed to do. And this is pretty ugly code. But since we're pretty much shipping, we don't really care about that. But this is super hacky. Like, yeah. It's funny. This is really wrong. So I'm starting from the left and drawing them to the right. So I have to move that right, I think. Yeah, I have to add that. So, okay. See, I was subtracting x. So this is weird. I'm drawing from the right to the left, instead of from the left to the right. Oh, because it's easier to draw numbers like this. Okay. This looks better. I'm not sure it's 100% though. So let's just make sure that in the menu, when we call draw number, we pass the same position, and we probably don't, as the draw text label name P. Yeah, see? No, this is correct. It's the same X. We just subtract 14 in the Y. If I just pass P here, oh, another thing I want to do, I just remembered. I'm gonna make a quick note before I forget. I can probably add another thing to the config file, since we did a config file anyways. So add the vsync option to the config file. That was pretty cool. We wrote that last stream, a config file parser. So is this correct? This doesn't look correct. If I don't center that, let me see if I get starting from the ending, I suppose. Yeah, ending at this. Oh, because we probably have one character off. Yeah, we do have one character off. That code is super hacky. Or half a character, to be honest. That's super weird. Because we start at, let me try to draw for you guys to understand. That was super bad drawing number code. Well, anyway, we know it's a bad number, draw number code, but it's even worse than we thought, right? Let's see, we're drawing like, I don't know, 78. We start at the center of the last character. Okay, this is where we start. And we end, well, and we are supposed to move, in this case, we just want to move half this character. So we can move the full width times 2, which is one character, that will make us center like this. And then move back this half guy. Right? The problem is I don't know if it ends on 1 or 2 or another number, right? So what I can do, which is pretty hacky, to be honest, is like last move. Right? And I'm going to set that to the last move. Well, say that last move is a square, and this guy is a last move. And then I'm gonna say that p.x plus equals the last move. And then when I finish iterating through the number, I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna remove the last move divided by 2. So yeah, no, just the last move. So we don't need to do the last move, I suppose. I don't know. That was really hacky. Hey man, nice to see you here. Awesome. Okay, so now we are centered. Oh, yeah. No, we are pretty centered. No, you know what? Not 100% centered. This probably is just half, like we originally thought. No. Oh my god. Is it twice? This is super hacky. No, is the entire thing. So it's better than before, and I think I'm gonna settle with good enough. Looks pretty centered, and then I can go back to the old position. And oops, I'm not sure what I did. How you doing? I'm doing great, man. We are really close. Today might actually be our last coding stream, to be honest. Might be our last coding stream because the game page is already up on Steam. I can already play the game on Steam. This is my Steam account, and I can play the game on Steam, which is awesome. You know, when I started, I actually didn't think I could actually release the game on Steam. That was pretty cool because the game looked pretty cool, and you can see the whole thing on the Steam page, and you can wishlist that, and I post a couple live streams that. You know, the new update system looks pretty cool, to be honest. Pretty nice. So yeah, I'm super excited, man, to release the game. We made a couple of. It's gonna be almost like 80 hours of entire development, which is good enough. I mean, if you see like Handmade Heroes' first 80 hours, he wasn't close to shipping. He's not even close to shipping still. I see. So I'm gonna say that our mission was accomplished. The mission was to do like a, I don't know, a simple oh, this does not look centered at all. This looks pretty centered. Maybe the one's not 100%. Let me see how that looks full screen. So I suppose the mission was accomplished, and the mission was to make like a simple Handmade Hero kind of stream. So we're gonna code the entire game from scratch and live stream the entire process. And we are close to release. I think we're gonna finish today. Yeah, it's not 100% centered. Let us try get the centered code 100% correct. Because, I don't know, since we are doing this, we might as well, right? If I don't do the last character offset, it looks worse. But based on our... Oh, we do have to do the last character offset plus the spacing, right? Don't we have a spacing? I suppose this already has the spacing. Yeah, so we have to move half of that character over, which is this guy. Last half of the character, of the last character. Okay. Maybe we should add that. Yeah, I think. Nah, I don't know, man. This is super hacky. I think I'm gonna have to live with this. Not perfect centering. See, Pong looks perfect. Oh, not perfect. If we make that times 2, it's gonna be way too much, I suppose. Well, not really. And you know what? I think now that looks correct. And you know what? This may actually be not 2, but it may actually be 1 plus the spacing, which might be 1. So I'm gonna, let me see, it's probably not gonna change much. Yeah, but this looks correct, I think. At least good enough. This one's not 100%. Let me see how that looks with a 0, guys. So I'm gonna change our save. Yeah, so the 0 looks pretty cool. Pretty well centered. And one of the things that we should really consider is like the first contact with a game, right? Let me just turn the lights on. Starting to get dark here. The first player's contact with the game. So when the first player launches the game, this is what he sees, right? I think it's pretty clear, the interaction and like the interactivity of it, and like the YouTube channel and stuff. I think this is pretty clear in terms of goal, right? And shows all the objectives and stuff. So this is great. I mean, this animation right off the bat. What I'm not 100% happy with is the win screen. That's why I said that I needed maybe a more happy win, kind of a you win kind of stuff. I might actually add the you win screen. Yeah, let me just analyze that. If I go to like the levels and I have the block, let's see. I'm gonna add, I don't know, just like 1 block. Just to make it very easy to. That was awesome. See? This is not the best, I don't know, you win kind of a screen. So what can we do? We could type you win. And then we could pretty much immediately okay, add fireworks after winning. Okay, so we crashed. Mission failed. Mission failed. When we are on a release build. Oh crap. Oh, we are in the optimized build. This sucks. Let me see. So we are in the update game audio thread. And the main thread is in the spawn particle. So we probably just ran, let's see, probably, let's see, spawn particle, probably ran a sound, yeah. So it either just played a sound, or it's about to play a sound, because this is not 100% trustworthy, right? I don't know, maybe. Because if you're just setting some random particle stuff, it's okay, but at this point, called it. Yeah, you were correct, man. So at this point, we are about to add a couple sounds, and the thing is, we added a lot of stuff. Like, I think it's the this one that's about to explode, right? That wants to add particle effects, but we have a strong block, so this is probably going to add like a ton of sound effects, like a ton of them. Maybe that's the problem when we add a ton of sounds. I think I'm gonna make a repo situation like this. It's gonna be pretty cool, I think. But let's just analyze that. That's the main thread. The audio thread is here. I can't see the values for some reason, because how come they optimize sound out? Well, okay, so yeah, we do have a couple info. I is, well, yeah, playing sounds. So yeah, we don't see the value of sound, which is a huge bummer, right? And Now suppose axis valuation reading. So I assume it's the sound DDoS. Yeah, I think that was the problem, man. I think our sound just got a DDoS attack because we got strong blocks. See in the bottom left corner, and strong blocks means that instead of destroying the block, the ball is going to redirect. But this is a comet, so it really doesn't want to redirect. It wants to go straight through. So this is going to play the sounds like a lot. So, okay, I am going to stop debugging, go back to the non-optimized build, so we can probably read that if it crashes again, and try to repro that. So I'm just going to go back to the normal play and test a couple things. Now, in the let's see, in the play sound, because we call the play sound with variation, but it just calls the play sound. So this is the only place, right? That we have like a playing sound. Let's see. Yeah, it's the only place. So if it's okay, first of all, we try to get the first free sound. And if we did get a free sound, we just use it. Yeah. If we didn't get a free sound, first we assert that the next playing sound is greater than 0, unless, okay, and then we get the next playing sound. Okay. And then add that, and if we are greater to or equal to array count, we set that to the immutable sound count, which should be let's see, in the audio system, immutable. Oh, this is the game, I suppose. Yeah, we set that to the next playing sound when we finish adding the initial loop sounds. So the thing is, if I add like only like, I don't know. Oh, first of all, let me see how many immutable sounds we have. Gain 252. Let's see. Well, we don't have the game, right? So, well, that's a bummer. Let's do like, what is it called? Simulate game, update game. Let's see. When we update the game, okay, let's see how many immutable sounds we have. We have 26 immutable sounds. That's a lot. Why do we have that many immutable sounds? That's weird. Let's see, next sound, what's it called? Next playing sound. Next playing sound. Let's see. Okay, 0. Perfect. Okay, so load the sounds, load bitmaps. Okay, so this is where we start. We play the music, both musics, the movement sound. Perfect. Then we had a block. We had a sound for each block? Oh, for each power block. Okay. Yeah, which are 16. So yeah, it's not the best solution. But okay. So I'll take 26. I'll take that. Okay. So the truth is, we only have a very limited number of sounds besides our constant 26 sounds. If I make that 30, well, it was like 32, right? If I make that 28, I expect to see a crash more often. Well, it didn't crash, which would, well, to be honest, I didn't expect to see a crash. I mean, I hope to see a crash. Because we are dealing with that correctly. We're just going to override the sound. So we don't hear all the sounds. See, we didn't hear all of them. But Yeah, this is kind of what I expected to see, just fewer sounds. Let's see what happens if I get the comment. This is perfect, to be honest. So let me try. In the end of the init, I do like a huge for loop, like and then I play a bunch of sounds, like play sound. Let's play the comet. Let's play the comet. Begin. Well, I do have to finish writing the for loop. Huge means okay. Okay, so this is the number that I was told to be huge. Okay? But I mean, we have 28 slots. 100 is going to go over 28 a lot of times, so. Yeah, nice, man. We did crash. Let me see if 100 would cause the crash. So this is the actual answer to the question, is 100 a huge number or not? Let's see. Oh, and it didn't crash, dude. You are totally right. You know what? Every time I need a huge number, I'm actually just like, I'm gonna add that to the utilities. Because this is a huge number. You are the only one who is happy when the game crashes. No, I'm not the only one. Admin2244 is also happy when the game crashes. It's great, man, because when the game crashes means that we can solve the crash. What is he said that it's great because you're sure that there's a problem, right? Okay, so this is a huge number. So if we are greater than a huge number, we crash. Awesome. You know what? This time it didn't crash. This time it was a assertion failure. Failed. But it's okay. It's the same effect. Now, this sounds that we're trying to play. Oh, but this is another problem. Well, or is it? The problem is that we don't have a sound, but we did have a sound. Okay, so it's not the same problem. Okay, so it is the same problem. It is active. It's not blocked. Why is it not blocked? Okay, so we found the problem. The problem is in our blocking system, which sucks. Why is it not blocked? You know that there exists. So yeah, we could make this number so huge, but you can't type it. You could make like a. And this number, well, if I make that a long, I can make that a huge number. Now this is a fucking huge number, but I don't think we need a fucking huge number. Just a huge number is good enough. In this case. Okay, so let's again see the problem. So we already asserted that a few times, so we can be sure that in the process of like this to this point, something changed. And you know what? We were zero. Someone zeroed us out, man. Someone zeroed us out. This is so weird. Let me see. Assert this guy, and I can also assert. Multi-threading programming has some weird stuff. If you're not like 100% safe and do all sorts of stuff. This is why we don't need to do a lot of stuff. Well, not that we don't need, but we shouldn't do a lot of stuff. Except if we really do need. Don't use it because your game will crash Steam and game will delete your tiny game. I don't know. They did reject the game though because I didn't send the source code, and it says on the page that I do have the source code. But I am going to send the source code, dude. Come on, they have to chill. I have to assert that the sound blocked by thread is true. Let's see if. Okay. Oh, it's not blocked by thread. We are probably wrong, man. In our interlocked compare exchange. This is so weird. Did we typoed something? Like interlocked compare exchange ABC? Interlocked compare exchange ABC. This looks correct. And in our interlocked compare exchange here, we pass the new entry in the original. And that's what we are passing here. Well, let me go back to the audio. The new entry in the original. New entry is true because I want it to be blocked. Just as a test, I suppose, if I don't do this, do I crash now that I have this assertion in place? I don't crash. So when I do have a DDoS attack on my audio system, I crash. But this doesn't make a lot of sense because play sound is gonna try to get, maybe this is wrong. The next play sound. You know what? I think I'm gonna tag. I'm gonna do like I don't know. When I play the sound, I'm gonna tag it. Just so I have like an incrementing value so I know which sound crashed the game. Let's see. So the sound that crashed was sound. What? Oh, is that because of a. No, I thought it was because of a buffer overflow. Like integer overflow. How many? How much is our huge number? Anyways, let me see. Yeah, it is a pretty huge number. It's 100 million. Okay, so we crashed. We crashed in sound 44 million. Because it says it's not blocked. This is really weird. Because this. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I put a breakpoint here, but it crashed before it reached the breakpoint? Oh, because this guy also has to do a compare exchange. Yes. I can't do a compare like this because, yeah, maybe it's not blocked. Then I enter this point, and then it's blocked. So you know what? I may actually do, instead of just like a blocked by thread, I'm gonna do a more robust thing of doing like type def, I don't know, sound reading access. I'm gonna do like sound reading, like sound zeroing, sound reading, and sound normal. Okay, and I'm gonna do a volatile sound reading access. I think this is gonna be a little bit more robust. Let's see, volatile time sound reading access is going to be this result, and well, I'm going to make this like also a compare exchange. Let's do a compare exchange here. So this is the sound reading access, the original. The new value is going to be the sound reading. Yeah, reading. Okay. The interlocked is going to be sound reading access. Okay. And assert that the what is it called again? I forgot. Oh, it's called that reading. Let's call that access. Access. And I'm going to change that to a compare exchange in a moment, so I'm going to ignore that for now. Access. This will be the access. And assert that the access equals to sound reading. I can probably do like new value. Okay. And I can probably do like a macro for this. But well, and this one's the sound normal. Okay, and now at this point, well, you know what? I want to change that to the, yeah, I have to change that, but yeah, let's change that first. So the thing is, if this guy, original value, if this guy is not, well, while original is not a blocked sound normal, I'm gonna spin lock this guy as well. And with the moment it is locked, well, you know what? I can do the normal thing. So I can do the while interlocked, right? Interlocks. Yeah, this guy inside the for loop, right? So yeah, so for. Okay, so original access. I'm gonna say if original is not the sound normal, continue. Okay, then I got the new value, and then this, instead of asserting, I'm gonna do like, and if the interlocked is equal, this one can do like the sound. If it's equal to the original, means that we cannot break out of the loop. Okay, I'm not going to do this down here, but I am going to assert this the case. Okay. Okay, so this is a more correct thing, I suppose. I'm going to do the same thing here. So while it's not normal, I'm going to spin lock. I'm going to change that to sound zeroing. I could probably call that writing. And I'm going to assert just sound zero. Let's see. I don't know. Access is not a member of loaded sound. This is result. Result. Come on. Okay. What do you guys think will happen? You guys think it's going to solve the problem, cause a new problem, or I don't know. Okay, so it's still crashing. We are set to sound reading. I guess the crash. Yeah, we did crash. You won. We are set to reading, so we fixed this problem, which is good, because when we crashed this before, we weren't set to blocking. Now we're set to reading. Oh, but yeah. And in the play sound, if it's not normal, we continue. We only should do this if it's normal. Well, I'm gonna be really stupid here and then assert it's normal. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so we survived for a bit. I could hear a little bit of the sound. Ship it. We are, yeah. I mean, we could ship with that problem because it only happens when we pass a huge number, right? But it is a crash. Crashes aren't fun. Sound was null. That's so weird, man. Sound was null right after we checked if sound is not null. Right after we assert that. I mean, literally, we test if the sound is not null. We test that. And it's funny because it's not null. Oh, the samples are null? No, the samples are not null. Okay, so now this is weird. It's saying that sound was a null pointer, but it's not a null pointer. What happens if I try to ignore this? It's probably not gonna. Let's see. Let me go to this assembly. Dude, this is so weird. We are on the compare line. Okay, so we are in the compare line. See, Visual Studio sucks. Because we are in the if sound samples line, and it says here, oh, but this is correct. Okay, so Visual Studio doesn't suck. So it's so weird. We have 0 on that registered. We have 0 that on, yeah. But on the actual pointer, we don't have 0. Then it'll be that you explaining how the first day patch after the. Would it be so that you create an additional stream explaining how to the first day patch after the game release? You mean how to send that to Steam? Well, we are going to do a release stream, so maybe we can do like a a release celebration and fix at the same time. I don't know. Dude, this is what I don't understand. We are moving. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This is so weird. We are moving this pointer to this registered. Let me just, yeah. And then we're just adding 8 to that. And then it becomes 0? This is so weird. I have no idea. I have no idea what the problem could be, to be honest. Because right now we do have samples. And it's trying to add 8, which is like to get the samples member of that struct, right? Well, where am I here? This is assembly. It's trying to add 8 to this null pointer guy. So that was the problem. No, you're dereferencing a pointer and it results into 0. Sound is 0, but yes, otherwise for some reason. Okay, so this is a bit better, I suppose. So you're saying that Visual Studio is wrong, which is not news, right? But let me just move the camera a bit here. Oh, that wasn't a very good move. Okay. So you're saying, we go back to the audio. So you're saying that sound, this guy is actually 0. Yeah, the assembly tells us. So it says that it's 0, right? And we're trying to dereference that. We're trying to add this 8 guy here. And then to dereference the pointer. Okay, so you are correct. So the pointer is 0 for some reason. But look, here, when I first set that register, it's not 0. It's a valid pointer. See, this is a valid pointer. First of all, first I move that, which looks like a valid pointer, right? To this. Then I just add 8 to that, and somewhere along the way, it was 0. So if I can't trust the Visual Studio debugger, Oh, next plane sound is 27? How much next plane sound do we give us? Also, we could probably add that to a huge number, and that will probably solve the problem as well. Oh, 28. So we are on the very limit on the playing sound. But 27 is still valid. Yeah, you take your pointer to sound from the stack. It's a pointer to the stack. You take your pointer to sound from a stack, and then you take sound, and that results to 0. Do learn assembly. Yeah. You know what? I do have to learn my assembly, to be honest. Yeah, you are 100% correct that I do have to learn. But come on, man. You are helping me out here. So, sound is 0, correct? Sound is 0, you're saying, right? Sound is 0. Or sound sample is 0. Because I have just tested if sound wasn't 0 here. So if sound was 0, or are you saying that it changed along the way? Because that was... Oh, you know what? It may have changed, to be honest. It may have changed. I think you are correct that I can't do these tests at all until I lock it. Okay, this is a bit better. This is a bit better. Sound is 0. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is 0? But if this is 0, we should have continued and not tested sound samples. And that wasn't the case, right? Looks like a good time to create sound samples. But if sound was 0, we shouldn't be testing if sound samples are 0. Because the problem is we try to dereference this pointer. Yes, exactly. So you're saying that it changed along this way, which I suppose that's the problem. I think this is correct. This wasn't 0 in this point, and it was 0 in this point, which means that it changed, which means that we have to lock before we do. This is correct now. But now I do have to unlock when I go through the loop. So instead of like continuing, I'm just going to, let's say, like if we are active and we have sound and we have sound samples, I can do everything. And if I don't, I am going to advance anyways. Okay, so now we shouldn't do this test, which is the one that we did, before locking. So I hope that the value doesn't change from like this to this, whatever, right? Let's see. Okay, so we survived a lot longer, and then we crashed, which is good, I suppose. Okay. So again, sound access, assert that's... So yeah, I should probably do an interlock exchange here, right? And not just this volatile thing, but it's the same idea, right? So I'm going to get the original, and the original I'm going to assume it's the sound normal, right? So yeah, it's the same thing we did before, but it's not the correct behavior, I suppose. So this is the original. This is the sound zeroing. Yeah. And interlocked sound zeroing. Okay, this is the correct interlock exchange. Now we can do this more robust thing because we don't do this copying before. It's just atomic operation. One operation is gonna make sure that it's normal there and change that to zeroing. So that's the actual interlock compare exchange, right? So this is what we're gonna do. We are going to, same thing, ignore these guys and these guys and these guys. New value is going to be sound reading. The original has to be sound normal. And has to be sound reading at this point. And same thing here, I'm going to assert that it's reading. But this shouldn't be problematic, to be honest. But then I'm going to change that to sound normal. And the original has to be sound reading. And assert that interlock is going to be sound reading. Oh. Threading is hard. Message ahead a bit. You are correct. Threading, it is hard. Especially because these functions are a bit finicky. I mean, it should be like an easier call, I suppose, in terms of API. Let me just go back to the kind of. But yeah, we're gonna review this before we try to run. Assert that interlocked. Let me just see. Interlocked is sound reading. Yeah. And assert that we could probably loop through this to make sure, but this should really not happen. This case. In the other case, we are doing an if because it can fail, but in this case, it shouldn't fail because this is the only thread that's changing it. Sound reading. Oh, sound normal. But this is the old one, and this is the new one. Okay. Normal. Okay, so what we're doing now is the same thing that we wanted to do in the first place, but now we're doing the correct code, I suppose. Interlocked exchange, which is when we play the sound, we're going to make sure that it's normal, and we're going to set that to 0. So this is the correct code for doing this. Okay, the interlocked compare exchange, and if it's the old one, this is wrong. The interlock compare exchange returns the old value, if I'm not mistaken. What? Dest RT? Is this? How come it doesn't return a value? It doesn't make any sense, and it needs 4 arguments. Original value. Okay, so suppose that's a weird way of typing that it returns the original value. So this should actually be normal, and this should be reading. It's the wrong MSDN page. Windows Dev Center. Yes, dude. How come they have? I'm not even going to ask. Okay, but it's the same thing, right? The same thing. It's going to return the original value of destination. So the original value has to be normal in order for it to break. Thanks, man. Dude, you are helping me a lot, especially with the assembly thing. I am going to have to learn more because you really helped me realize that it was being changed between those 2 lines. That was key. That was key, man. That was key. That was awesome. Really. Okay. Wrong page. Yeah, exactly, man. Come on. Normal. And this is the correct interlock, I suppose. And again, I'm going to assert that it was reading and it's normal. I don't know. So let's go back and just one more time review the code. Interlocked. Okay. So when we try to play the sound, we want to set the sound to 0 only if it's normal. Okay, and it's going to succeed, right? Yeah, I could probably play around with this a bit to see the results, but yeah, if it's not this guy, which means that we failed. So we're gonna try to set that again. Okay, so this is gonna be our spin lock. And if it is normal, which means that we managed to set that to zeroing. We're going to break, and we're going to assert that it's zeroing. Okay. Same thing when we are updating the game audio. We're going to make sure that it's normal, set that to reading. And if it's normal, which this is the original value, we set that to reading and then assert. The last one, we should be reading because no one can change if we are reading. We're going to, yeah, so another problem. We set this to, yeah, we need the same thing. We need to set that back. It's funny, I don't know what would happen, but when we finish, we should probably, yeah, we're going to make sure that we are zeroing, and we're going to set that to normal. Oops. 0. Dan, girls outside want to play your game. Fix the bugs, please. We're almost done. We're almost done, man. We're almost done. Sound will be resolved. I think this is fixed. And you know what? No, this is correct. So we changed a lot of stuff. But now we set that to normal. Or we set that to zeroing, and then we zero that. Make sure we're still zeroing that. I think this is gonna work. I think this is gonna work, man. So girls outside can play the game. Okay, so we crashed. At this point, sound was normal. Somebody changed inside here. Dude. Let's just do something here. I'm not going to do anything here. And we still crash. So our problem is the way we're using the interlock exchange. Huh. So they can't. Yeah, they can't yet. But this is weird. Because we're not changing that on another thread. Now, that's for sure. And right here, we are sure that it was zeroing. Right? Yeah. But right now, it's not zeroing. It's not. Oh, because we zeroed that out. Okay. This way, they will easily find another developer. Okay. Okay, so this is wrong. I can't zero that. So I'm gonna make this a little bit more prone to error, but a little bit more robust. And that's kind of a paradox, but that makes sense. So I'm changing the active because I can't zero the whole thing. I can't zero the access. Clock's ticking, we have to ship. We do, and we are going to finish today, I think. We're very close to finishing this. We are active. We're not going to change the axis. We're going to change the sound. We'll change the position, the looping, the volume, the fading speed, the target volume. Oh, the volume, the target volume, the fading speed, the pan, the speed multiplier, and the source X. Source X, the synced free, synced sound, and the next free. Okay, so this has to be manually now every member but access must be manually zeroed in play sound. Oh my god, play sound. Okay. Play sound. So we shouldn't, well, just so we know, we did put a return here, but we shouldn't crash. But we shouldn't play sound either. Okay, so we do crash again. It's not zeroing, it's normal. Oh, because we didn't change that code. Dude. I'm super hushed now. Rushed, I suppose. Okay, so we're not crashing. Great. But we are infinite looping though. Oh, yeah, we are infinite looping because we are running that 100 million times. And that's a huge number. Okay. So, this code is now correct, as far as we know. Which is not very far, to be honest. Now, let's try to listen to some audio. And it's funny because we should really hear a very weird audio in the beginning because we're gonna spend a couple seconds playing that. Never assume. Assert means assume. I should really change the assert to like assume because I think it makes more sense. Like assume this is correct. Assert means that, I suppose. So we are asserting that we're going to read only if we're normal. Only if we're normal. We're not normal. I'm very not normal. Certainly. And then we're going to assert it's reading here. So we can't make a write. This is the more complicated thing. Not complicated. I mean prone to error. Right? This was the original problem. We were zeroing that during this loop. So this is the correct thing. Okay. Okay. Compiling without error success. Maybe we can ship and never actually play the game. So if we don't play and we don't see a crash, we can't say that we know that it was buggy. What do you guys think? Maybe we can send that to Steam? Or maybe we can try to run the game. What do you guys think? Your call. I can really send that to Steam, to be honest. The only problem I think is that you guys maybe gonna say, oh, try it. Okay, so I'm gonna try it. So I'm not going to send that to Steam. I am going to try to see if the audio works. Let's see. You guys are gonna hear some weird sounds, and that's what we want for a couple seconds. Then normal game. Oh no! Oh no, it crashed. Oh, but this okay. Okay, so the sound axis is normal, and it's not normal. Good thing you've checked. Dude, where do we assert? Because I'm gonna have to go to the disassembly. You're gonna have to help me out here, man. Again, because Visual Studio, according to its debug info, and let me just make sure that we are outputting everything correctly. Yeah, we are. According to its debug information, our interlocked is reading, which means that we managed to change that correctly, and we changed that to normal. So right here, everything's correct. However, it said that this line is not correct. So it's saying that the X is not normal, but it says it is. Let's go to disassembly and let's see the actual problem. Okay, so that was a huge failure. Okay, let me try to run that again. Okay, let's go to disassembly. Okay, I suppose that huge number was solving the problem. maybe that number is too huge. Okay, so we call assert. Dude, you're gonna have help. You are gonna have to help me out here, man. Really, I mean, we call assert like this is Forbes plus 500H. What does that mean? What is LEA? LEA, let's see. Load effective address. Okay. Puts into the mesh. Okay, so we load a couple stuff. And then we assert. It's funny, we are passing this to assert? What's this? Dude, help me out, man. ADM244, assembly is not my strong point. Let's see our registers. Why are we XORing, to be honest? Does assert XOR to see the value? That'd be weird. Let's go to the registered window. Let's see. Debug Windows register. Let's see. Registers. Just move that here. Okay, so we are already E. Where's that? EAX. Flags. Select all. What? It's checking if sound X is 0 or not. And it's calling assert. Is this the test that it's if it's 0 or not? Jump if it's equal to this. Yes, this is correct. Dude, you are good at this. So yeah, test this guy. Yeah. Can I see the value of these guys? Where are they? They're not. Oh. Floating point. Shouldn't they be in the CPU thing? Oh, I think RAX the same thing as test EAX and EAX, and jump if this guy, which is our value, is equal to this guy. What is this guy? Is that a memory address? Oh, it's memory address of the hard-coded sound normal, I suppose, which is 0, right? Yeah. RAX is 0. Sound axis is 0. But this is what we're testing, man. We are asserting that it's 0. And it says that it's 0. See? This is exactly what we want. I mean, we want it to be 0. And you just said that sound axis is 0. RAX is 0. Everything is 0, to be honest. Right? Yeah, we're moving. Yeah, the test here, jump if equal. Yeah, jump if this guy is 0. And apparently we didn't jump. Why didn't we jump? But to be honest, if that's the problem with the assert, we may get away with this. No, we don't get. Oh, we have a ton of asserts. Now, this guy says that's not normal, but it does say that's normal. Well, you know what? Let me just try removing the asserts. Unfortunately, the amount of bads is not 0. Bugs. Dude, but I can't solve a bug like this. If Visual Studio tells me that it's a 1 value, we look at this assembly, and it looks like it's the same value. It looks like it's 0, right? Maybe assert is problematic. Because assert, we didn't write assert. We could have done this. All right. You know what? Before I try running with asserts turned off, I am going to try running with our asserts. So, okay, so assert. So, yeah, this library is assert. I am not going to put this guy here, and I'm not going to assert this library at all. STB assert signed unsigned mismatch. Oh my god. Okay, let's just comment all the asserts. That's really stupid. But these guys aren't failing, as far as I know. Delete Visual Studio. I see you broke inside of assert routine and not that place you've called it. Change assert into if statement for breakup. Exactly, man. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to see. Oh man, come on. Changing these asserts broke everything. Okay, I can make, is this sound int interaction? No, this is sound, what? Int differs from plain sound? Okay, because I was actually comparing the pointer. So, actually I can U8 pointer. How can I compare? Can I just cast the pointer to a size t? I want to compare the pointer address. Signed unsigned mismatch. Okay, so this is, oh my god. Okay, signed unsigned. So I don't know why, but our assert has problems with signed unsigned. But We're not even using that, so it don't even matter. It's just, oh, we should probably do it like this. Maybe that was the problem. Yes, that was the problem. This assert was wrong, to be honest. Change assert into if statement and put a break on it. Yeah, I suppose you were saying in this audio thing, and we are going to do this. But let's just see what happens if our assert runs. Okay, so we still fail. So let's add an if statement. If y equals 0, let's see. Okay. Oh, actually, if it's not normal, right? So we assert that it's normal, so we should break if it's not normal. See? I don't know. Why is it better than assert? Well, it's supposed to give more information, right? But I really don't know, man. We should probably write a book about this, right? Because if sound axis x is not, this is so weird. This is so weird. This bug, man. See, it says it's false. Sound normal. This guy sound normal. If it's equal to sound. Let's check assembly. Okay, man. Let's go. Okay, so this is the if, right? We moved this guy, sound normal, to ARX plus 5. So yeah, this is sound. I'm learning, right? This is sound. Move on this register, and this we're adding 4, which is the offset of axis. So this is a value that we want. Oh, it says it's 1 here. Oh, but both of them are 1. And jump if equal. Okay. What? Yeah. Yeah. What indeed, man? I have no clue how to, this is so weird. I have no clue how to debug this. I mean, the watch window is certainly problematic. And this guy is correct. Like test is if it's equal to 1. Right? Why both of them are 1? I'm not sure, because sound normal is supposed to be 0. Even the literal thing, because this guy's a literal. So if I put the mouse over here, this guy, it says 0. But apparently I'm testing 1 and 1, which should be true anyway. So why is it jump equal? Should not, yeah, jump if it's equal, yeah. If it's not equal, it's not going to jump. Okay, this is correct. Apparently it wasn't equal. So 1 and 1 wasn't equal. I was expecting to be 0, 0. It is 1, but it goes inside of this. It is 1, but it goes inside of its if statement. So I suppose this is correct. 1 and 1. Okay. But what's not correct is the jump equal, right? If you're testing 1 and 1, yeah, and this goes to the if statement, right? And we jump if it's equal. It's equal. We should jump. If we go to like the register, can I see the EAX? Is this guy EAX? It's RAX 1. And you know what's testing? It's testing the same register. It's testing like EX and EAX. That's why both of them are 1. Yeah, see, it's 1 here. Jump if equal would be taken if EX is 0. Oh, okay. Okay. So jump equals checks 0 flag. So yeah, I am going to make a note, because I am going to study more assembly. So this is an important thing to know. Thanks, man. So jump if will be taken if EX is 0. So it's not 0. So apparently this test failed, right? The test, it's funny because it didn't fail the first time, right? if I put like a breakpoint in both these places, yeah, we're gonna hit this a lot before we hit this guy. So it's hard to know whether or not I'm gonna hit this guy beforehand. But you know what? I'm gonna test. I am going to turn assertions off. Okay, I'm going to turn assertions off, and this if as well, right? Ignore this if. Assembly and C lessons at the same time. So Visual Studio tells you garbage. But come on, man. This doesn't make sense either. Because if interlock of exchange returned the reading, which it did, because this assert we succeeded. If this is the case, it should be normal. It should set to this guy. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, man, to have returned reading, which is the original one, and not be normal. So I really don't know. I think assert, but this is good because like we're asserting the very last thing. I'm going to turn assertions off, and I think this is gonna work, to be honest, because it has to be normal. It looks like something's changing the value between instructions, but this instruction you can't change. This instruction is oh, you're saying between this and this instruction. Okay, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay. This instruction is atomic. That's why we're using it. For multi-threading, this instruction makes sure that we first test if it's reading, change that to normal in one instruction. So we can't do stuff between interlock compare exchange. This is one thing. We're going to test if it's normal, if it's reading, pardon me. We're going to test if it's reading, normal. This assertion just to make sure that this is correct. But I suppose we can't make sure this is correct because it may change from this to this instruction. And I suppose you are correct in this sense. So it may be changing between this and this, which is not a problem for us because this was the problem. If you look at the old code from earlier today when we started the stream, we were doing these tests with several instructions, and then it could be done between instructions. And this could also be done between instructions, but we don't really care about this. This is just for our own sanity check, whatever. And you know, to be honest, this is probably also going to be problematic because if this guy is spin locking, this is spin locking the atomic exchange. So as soon as this atomic exchange is done, this one's going to be executed. So it's going to change like this. Okay, so I suppose we're correct. I suppose we can't assert this, but we are going to have correct behavior. That's what I hope. I'm going to turn assertions off. But if it works, I'm going to remove these assertions because we can assert that because instructions can happen. We're going to just have to trust interlock compare exchange, which I suppose we have to, right? Come on. We have to trust that at least. Those asserts are useless. Exactly. It's useless in terms of like the correctness of the code because this should do this, right? But this just makes sure that this is doing this, right? But I suppose, yeah, it is. They are useless. Let's see. We are supposed to hear weird noises for a long time, then go back to the game. Let's see. Okay, I think that was a huge victory. Again, weird noises for a long time. And then we finished, which is that explosion. And then we get normal sound, like a pro. Dude, that was really hard, man, to debug. I think that was the hardest thing I ever debugged, to be honest. You know, memory is hard to debug, which was the second hardest thing I ever debugged, which is like a realloc memory problem. This might actually be the first, and I would not have done this if it weren't for you guys, to be honest. Especially you at ADM244. Thanks a lot, man. I am going to learn more assembly. And this was a typical multi-threading bug. And because you can't assume even these asserts in a multi-threaded scenario, right? So what we're going to do, this assert we can assume, but these guys we can't. So we can remove a lot of these asserts, to be honest. Those are a lot repetitive. Like, yeah, this guy, I'm pretty sure we can assume, because this would actually block that execution, and this would release it. So when we release, we can't check, because someone else might be blocking. Same thing here, but I'm not sure this would happen. But this assert can't be done. This assert can be done. This assert can be done, because that would block the other execution. I just joined, and I only know C#, so this looks magic to me. Yeah, you joined on the most crazy part of development, because we are about to ship the game. You know, this is the game that we are making. It's already on Steam, but we are polishing it for the release. You can, yeah, this is the game on the Steam page. Yeah, that was pretty cool. The pretty cool title I did. I programmed that title, like we did like the blocks falling. I programmed that for the trailer. It was pretty fun. So yes, it was correct after all. Was it? I mean, yeah, I suppose on that thread it was. I don't know. It's hard, because what I expected to see from Visual Studio was that it was a wrong value, right? Because the assertion failed. But then I was like, okay, how could that be wrong? And the answer was because it changed between instructions, right? But I don't know, Visual Studio wasn't really. If your studio was correct, don't delete it. Man, I'm not gonna delete it, okay? But I'm not gonna say that it was correct also. Okay, so this is the game. We are pretty close to shipping. It's gonna release really soon. I'm kidding. It's gonna be next week probably. So today was a bug fixing and polishing day. Yeah, we can remove the crazy test now. The huge number. Let's remove that huge number. Test. Huge number. We can remove that. And in the audio system, we can now improve this, because we're normally playing 28 sounds, and 26 of them are like permanent. So we can make that, I don't know, 48 sounds, whatever, at the same time. That was awesome, man. That was an awesome learning experience. You know, this stream was great, because polishing a game is really hard, and that's why Mermaider was like, oh, I think this is magic and stuff, because multi-threading is hard enough, but when you're doing multi-threading for the polish pass, which means that you don't care how it works, as long as it works, you're doing all sorts of crazy stuff, right? We started doing also, but now it's pretty robust. I mean, the way we turn out the audio system, like this is pretty cool. I mean, we are spinning locking, so it's probably not the. No, I'm not sure. But yeah, the names are pretty bad. But the idea is perfect. I mean, if you are reading, we can't change it, so we lock. If you're writing, we can read it, we can change it, so we lock. And interlock compare exchange was perfect in this case, right? Where are you from? So probably, yeah, no, this we can test. This we can't be sure. We couldn't be sure, but we can in this case, because it's not going to be changed. But this can't be sure, because this is in our stack. Where are you from? I'm from Brazil. Belo Horizonte, Brazil. Belo Horizonte, how we say it here. Pretty hot here. Very hot here. Just replace sound with SND. Dude, I hate it. I hate it when like code is all like SND, SNDZ, SNDR, and SNDN. I mean, who's gonna understand this? It doesn't make any sense, dude. And anyway, autocomplete does like half the job for you. We can just like tap sound, tap, right? Yeah, man. Code clarity is really important, and I really strive for that. Let's just count the lines of code. Breakout code. Because I think we are about done, to be honest. We're gonna have to check a little bit, or maybe play Tetris a bit more. Oh, we're gonna have to balance that. Dude, this software is so slow. So we wrote almost 10,000 lines of code ourselves. And if we could blank lines and comments, it's like 12,000 lines. And if you could the libraries that we used, oh no, this is wrong. This is the other way around. These are the libraries that we use. This is our code. So we managed to write 4,000 lines of code and 5,000 lines of code, including blank lines and comments, and that was in 70 hours. That was decent enough. Not 70 hours. That was in 50 hours. I already forgot. We saw how many about that. Okay, how to do autocomplete in for code, by the way. Been using for a few weeks, never not. Oh, just tab. If you start typing something like playing and you press tab, it'll look for this the beginning stream, starting from where you are, all the way down to the buffer, and then the other way around. So if I have like playing this and do like playing sound, this is gonna be playing sound. But if I press tab again, then it's gonna be this guy. So I can just go through these guys that appear in the file, right? This is the autocomplete, but it's not 100% perfect. I would wish there was when the beta releases for Coder, which should be by the end of this year, I am going to write a pretty beefy customization layer. I already have I have a ton of ideas of what I need in the customization layer. Let me just pull that up. These are what I want, and one of the things I don't know where it's at. I mean, basic thing is one thing I really like in Visual Studio and stuff, but it makes it the way it implements is pretty bad. But I like the idea is that when I do set volume, it's pretty cool to know what the parameters are, right? It's pretty because we forget about that all the time. However, the way they do it is like a tooltip. A tooltip is terrible. Dude, don't ever put tooltips on the main thing that you're typing because they can obfuscate things they want to see, right? So the way I would implement that, I would make something like up here, like the argument list. That's what I would do, and I can do that in code because it's pretty open. But I'm gonna wait for the beta because it's gonna change a lot of stuff. Oh, the game looks fun. Why did you choose C over something like Unity? Looks kind of hard. I have done games in Unity, have done games in Unreal, have done games in Game Maker, Godot. I've done all sorts of games in those games. In fact, this game, which is the pretty big game I released, I spent 3.5 years making this game. This was in Unreal. And it's kind of a myth that engines make it easier to make games. I can tell you that engines make it easier to start making games. I mean, at that time, certainly I wouldn't be able to do this game with no engines. That's for sure, especially the way I did it with a super limited team, right? However, 3.5 years is a long time. And in 3.5 years, I would have learned programming for real. And maybe I could have advanced enough to be able to do something like this. Not this, but something like this, right? So, and there's another problem. This problem that we had today was basically fixing the other problem, right? Problems like this happen in games all the time, especially for 3.5 years making this game like I was. You are going to find very weird problems, like the one we had. This is normal for game development. This is normal, right? The problem is, if you are using an engine, you can't solve it. ADM helped me, and you guys as well, right? To go to the disassembly and see what exactly was the problem, the value in the register, and understand the problem. If you are using an engine, and like Unity, like I said, and this happens, all you can do is search, this happened to my game, please help. This is the only thing you can do. You can't understand the problem for real. And there's a lot of value in understanding the problem, okay? And but why did I choose C in this project specifically? Because this project is a very small game. And I could do that with no engines pretty easily. And for a couple reasons. So we've watched the very first stream on YouTube, youtube.com/danzaydan. I talk about the goals for this project. I can say that in pretty much success in pretty much all of them, right? Which were to learn a lot, which I did, and I think you guys did as well, right? Which was great. Have fun, which we did. We also had some hard times fussing with Visual Studio and stuff, but it was a great project. And C is a lot of fun, and that's why I didn't choose C++ because C++ is a mess. It's crazy. So C is way better than C++. So we did accomplish that as well. So yeah, learn for you guys, teach you guys, right? And learn. So those are the goals. And if I use something like Unity, I wouldn't learn programming. I would learn how to use Unity. And it's not fun to use an engine because of these problems I said. Because we were talking before, you can pretty easily make a game, but shipping a game is really hard. And Unity and Unreal and stuff helps you how to make a game, right? So, and to be honest, this game that I showed you guys that I released, I even developed that for the PS4. I have the whole process here on YouTube, right? From the very first thing I created, like this is the first thing I created. This is in Unreal. Then I did like the character animation and the top-down aiming, right? So at this point, I was like, I don't know, 3 months in the project by myself. This is what I'd be able to do. I would not have been able to do this in 3 months, especially at that time. But today, I can do that in 3 months, like 3D with character animation stuff, with no engines, right? But Unreal helped me get to this point. This is the game. I had the game 3 months into development. However, the game took 3.5 years to release. So really see the problem there, that they help us get to this point, not the other point. The other point is the same thing, whether you're using an engine or not, to release the game. It's the same thing after this point, right? And the other point, and the other part, the 3.5 years after this, well, let's say 3 years and 2 months, right, that I spent to release the game, to make content and polish and things like that. And you can see the whole thing here on YouTube. This is really hard, and engine doesn't help. In fact, engine makes it worse. Like I said, how we are supposed to debug this problem? Of course, we wouldn't have this problem in an engine, right? But we would have similar problems. If a problem I had in this game, for instance, that in the PS4 I was running out of memory using Fmod. How would I, first of all, know the problem and debug the problem and improve the problem? What I did was like in the Fmod forums, like, oh my god, please help me, I have no idea what's going on. Here are the files, and here's what's going on, and you know, wait for updates. This happens a lot. Like, wait for someone to fix, someone who doesn't even know my game to fix my game, right? This is not fun, and this is not, it's not a very learning process. So this is why for this game I chose this. That's a pretty long explanation. I think you got it, right? Okay. About assembly, can I paste a link to the Intel software? Absolutely, man. I would love to see a link like this. I do know the Intel Intrinsics guide, but do you mean that the huge man? Yeah. Okay. So let's see the link that ADM. Okay. So yeah, this is the full manual. Yeah, this is the actual manual that we should be able to know, at least partially, right? At least know better than I did. If you know it as well as you did, which was pretty well, because you managed to see exactly how the jumps worked and the assertions, and we changed that today. If that was perfect. Yeah, but do you suggest, how do you suggest I read this? Just start from like page 1 and read until I get bored to death? Or is there like a more interesting, like, yeah, brief history? Yeah, but it's pretty small though, yeah. Basic execution, okay, yeah, maybe I should start at the beginning. Data types, contents. I'm not sure. How do you recommend that I study this? I don't know. You have just denied the encapsulation principle of OOP. You are correct, I did. If your code is an open source, you have to make an obfuscation anyway. An obfuscation. Oh, this is why I said the OOP thing. Yeah, dude, this is like super open. And if you see the license for the game, let me open the itch.io. You can already download this. I'm gonna, as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna push that on itch.io. And the license is do whatever you want with it. Like this is like a public domain, and do whatever you want. Like you can choose whichever license you prefer, right? And so it is open. So it's pretty open source in this sense, right? I love the content takes a lot. That's awesome, man. Thanks. I really hope that more people start watching that as well, because I have some pretty cool stuff to do ahead. I'm planning. This reminds me when my younger brother told me, why make your own engine when your others are available, who help you make your own problems. At the time, I didn't say that I should have me. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. It's awesome to solve your problems. It's great. What's not awesome is to solve other people's problems, especially since you don't have enough information. And the problems that they have is way more complex than the problem that you have. Because this problem, was super simple. I mean, once we learned that, it was simple, like people instruction like changing between instructions like because of multi-threading. Okay, but when you're talking about big problems that you can't really solve because you don't, I mean, you're not going to debug a real engine, right? It's like 17 million lines of code, right? So we wrote like 4,000, right, for this game. So that's why I don't use Unity or Unreal for a game like this, right? Because, come on, it's like bringing a bazooka to kill a cockroach. Is that what the saying is, right? About the display function programs, you could just output them in place right after the open break. Yeah, this is also pretty useful, but it's not 100% though. However, because imagine like I'm calling this function like, let's see an example. I'm calling like set volume, but I want to add another parameter here. Like where would I add here? Because I'm like in the middle of it. Either I don't show in this case, or or I kind of yeah. Either I offset this whole text, or putting in on top of this text, which is the problem of the tooltip, or I can just like do as if I was typing the suggestion. I could do this. But I suppose that the most elegant solution is really to do this on a corner somewhere, because it will work on any case, not just a new function. I mean, maybe if you are changing a function, maybe you already know the parameters, so maybe you can ignore that case and only have the tooltip if you are doing no functions. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to test that. It may be a burden to like keep looking like this and like this a lot. Let's see. I just use it as a reference. Yeah, okay, but I think I need a little bit more. I think I need like a more in-depth introduction to assembly, because I do know the very, 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 very basic. But it's not like, okay, I need to know, yeah, we searched about that what instruction was that? We kind of searched about it, yeah, LE, yeah, we could search about this instruction, whatever. It's gonna be kind of hard to search, I suppose. Memory operations, whatever. But that's not really what I think I need. I think I need a more introduction, like strong introduction to assembly and stuff. I do know the very basics though. Do small projects about different stuff, in my opinion. Yeah, but this is what I intend to do. But I don't know, it's just like the other friend told us in the stream before. I really like big projects, man. I really want to tackle a project this big again, like this big, this big. I really want to do it, but I can't in my free time, right? So while I can't, I want to prepare myself in terms of knowledge to be able to tackle this project. So I want to incrementally do more complex things. And I understand that this doesn't make for very much interesting content, unless I can do like very contained things. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to try to build a more complicated thing, but with a more contained kind of structure. Yeah, but we'll see. I have a pretty cool idea though. Let's see. Show all parameters, but highlight the parameters at the current position. Yeah, but where? Am I going to show all parameters up here? That's the idea. Show all parameters here, and then do like the bold thing. That's this thing is pretty cool. But I don't want to do it like in the middle of the text though. I can just invert the colors, white backgrounds on white font. Yeah, it'd be fun though. When I get to write that customization layer, I could probably make that stream. That could be cool. I do have to learn though, because I have no idea how to do the customization for coder. Don't highlights exist in for coder? But highlights show all parameters by highlight. Yeah, they do. They do now. They do now in the new rendering. But I'm not using this. Is old for coder. This is like for coder 4.0.28. I think it's like in 30 or 31. I'm not sure, because it changed some of the shortcuts. And I suppose that if I don't have the customization layer to change, it's not worth changing. But I was about to do the customization layer when he released the video talking about the beta launch. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for that. So yeah, but they now with the new rendering system they do. That'll be clean. Okay, unless you change the type. Just invert the colors. I never even heard of for coder since 15 minutes ago. Yeah, for coder is pretty cool, man. For a runner, for coder. For coder is great. It's this version is free that you can't customize. It's really fast. It has a lot of cool features, like if I type like, I don't know, like if something like, and open this thing, kind of indent the whole thing automatically. Pretty cool. I was that as a manual, I was learning, but for beginners, it's far too technical, complicated. Okay, so thanks. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep this in mind for like reference, but I am going to search for a more introduction material and stuff. I do know the very basics though. I don't know. Does a per Bronson teaches that in Bitwise? I learned a lot in Bitwise though. Although although he doesn't explain too much, his code does explain a lot. So assembly. Dynamically, yeah, I'm not sure this is it though. How to program assembly language. Dude, this is it. This is what I need. I knew Perl would have something like this. Disclaimer, won't be one out from the optimizing. This is perfect. I'm gonna link for everyone who wants to go a little bit more in depth in what we learned today on stream. I think this is gonna be perfect, to be honest. Yeah, awesome, awesome, nice find. I'm going to note this as well to do later on. Okay, let's. You know what? I think we centered the text. Maybe add this, and maybe we're gonna call that a game, not a day, a game. We're gonna call that. But what idea happened to Per? He kind of disappeared. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of wished. I mean, he did tackle a big project, right? Like Casey, and it's really hard to go. I mean, this project I've been doing this for like 23 live streams. It's really hard, man, to keep motivated and to go back. It's really hard. Sometimes you want to program off stream, but you can't. Per does program off stream because that helps. That helps a little bit, right? But then people can't follow along. Then people are not going to be that motivated to watch. I don't know. It's kind of hard. I kind of understand that he didn't have the motivation, but I would love to see more from him because that series was awesome. I programmed a programming language after I watched the beginning of his series. That was awesome. Thank God he did that. And also has an introduction to assembly, like a 3-part. Let's see how long it is. Yeah, it's like 1.5 hours each. So this is going to be a great introduction to assembly, 2 hours. It's going to be cool, I think. Hopefully. Okay, so let's just play for a bit. Let's see if actually, let's just make sure that we are, let's see, on the development. Let's go to the optimized build. Let's play for a bit. This is so cool now. Yes, finally, man. So good to be able to play the game. You know, in the other game, can you guys hear me pretty well? Or is it too loud? Let me just turn the volume a little bit down. You know, one of the greatest things to finish a game, it's okay, yeah, is to be able to play it in the end of development. Because in the end, motivation really is problematic. Because you've done that for a long time, you can't even see the end. But it's close, but there's so many problems, there's so many bugs, so many things that could be better. You could spend like so much time in it. There's like, sometimes you think, oh man, this sucks, I should stop doing right now and do something else. But then you stop and think, okay, this is awesome, I should really spend like years in this because this is so great. It's really weird the way projects work, big projects like this work. Oh, not like this. But project this size also has the way that this, but I'm talking about my 3.5-year project. That was pretty evident back then, right? And the best thing you can do at this point is just sit down and play the game for a bit. I used to do this when I was porting the game to the PS4. And I was alone in the project, in my home, because at some point we did have like a small space. You know, I had a cousin who had like a vacant room in his office, so we were able to for like 2 years, be in his office and stuff. That was awesome. And there were like no motivation problems on that part because everyone was there and everyone was like motivating one another. But then when we ran out of money, I was looking at the code and I almost missed the ball. And then when we ran out of money, I kind of had to come back home, and I was alone again in the project. And then I had huge motivation problems, man, huge ones. And what I would do to kind of and I had like a list of 200 bugs that I had to solve, right? That's not fun, right? And I was like, oh man, it's gonna take so long, and stuff. So what I would do to get motivation back was just to play the game for a bit, right? And I was going to be reminded of how awesome it is. I mean, I was also going to be reminded of how buggy it was. And I shipped that with some pretty bad bugs, unfortunately, but I couldn't improve that. I did the best I could at that. And I didn't even know how to program for real. That's another problem, man. The other guy that asked about Unity and stuff, it makes it so easy to start making the game. When I started making the game, I was programming like visual programming and stuff. I had no idea what I was doing, right? So by the end, I was almost done with the game. I didn't have like a solid understanding, a solid foundation. So it was really weird. Unfortunately, the streams about coding or art or so will never be viewed as gameplay streams. But you do a very important thing, especially for people who really want to nerd. So thanks, dude. That's awesome. That's very kind words, man. Awesome for it. But I am getting a lot of views, like 22. I think I got like 22 like once before, to be honest. So people are, because the game is getting done, right? So it's awesome to see some visual stuff. It's almost like a gameplay stream now, is it not? Oh my god, I got slow. Okay. Oh my god, let's go. Okay. Ooh, that was pretty hard. I got the slow. Oh, and then the mouse was back. Maybe you can try to fix that. I try to fix that, but I don't know if that will happen on full screen. The problem is when I move the mouse really fast and I get off the screen in one frame, don't forget to set the title bar icon. I will, man, but the way I do this is with Resource Hacker. So I had to load up the executable here and then load up the image here. And I only do this before if I'm not mistaken, the last one in the itch.io was set, to be honest. And on Steam, it's already set. So if I go to the Steam page of the game, well, it's not public yet, but I do have the build here, right? Just find Steam here for a second. Steam apps, common, break arcade games out. Okay, so it's not. I didn't actually put the title here. Yeah. But what does it say in terms of text? Breakout. I'm gonna change that. Yeah, the icon I'm going to change later on, but I'm going to change this to break arcade games out. Awesome. So audio, I think is perfect. Let's add. Oh, we should also. Oh yeah, let's do the mouse thing. So mouse. You get the mouse not to disappear after making the fast movement. So let's do this pretty quickly. Okay, so the idea is when I do a really fast movement, I go off the screen, and then the mouse appears. Let's see if it happens when I go full screen. It may not happen. If it doesn't happen, maybe I don't care about this. Let's see. Because I'm not sure how would I solve this, to be honest. Yeah, when I do a really fast movement, the mouse doesn't appear on full screen mode. So since most players will be playing full screen, I don't think we care. The official name for this kind of game is Arkanoid, which is pretty fun. Yeah, you mentioned that before, but to be honest, I hadn't heard about this. Arkanoid. Arkanoid with a K? Okay, instead of Breakout. Yeah, Breakout was the... Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, Breakout was the game, and Arkanoid is the kind of game, right? So, you are correct. You can appear to have 2 more or more in a row. You are correct. That sucks pretty hard. I'm not sure how would I do this because the set cursor. Let's see where we're setting this. When we resize the window, I set the cursor position, and then if we're supposed to hide, I set the cursor to 0. If we're supposed to hide when we activate the app, set that to 0. And then set the cursor. If we're not active. Yeah, if we're not active, we're going to set the cursor back. Is this the problem? I don't think we get that message if we run out of the... well, go back. I don't think that was the problem, to be honest. Yes, Arkanoid. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, but I managed to find it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, so that's not the problem. So this is the kind of gameplay game. Yeah, like Rogue, right? Rogue was the game, like Breakout, but dungeon crawling, I suppose. I don't know. It's more than that dungeon crawler. Yeah, it's kind of hard, these categories. So set cursor, again, if we're supposed to hide, we set the cursor. This is in development mode, right? If we press F1, yeah, this is the pause thing. Mouse input, set cursor, pause. Let's try to do something. I'm not sure this is gonna have an impact on performance. Let's try to do like set cursor. Let's try to do this every frame. I'm not sure this is the best call. Oh, that's the best frame if you're supposed to. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. So, yeah, this fixed it. So I managed to see that off screen for 1 frame, but then I'm back on screen. So, but you know what? I think that wasn't a very good call because I think I'm pretty slower than I was. So I'm gonna turn on the profiler and I'm gonna stop sleeping. And let's see. Draw number. What was that? Okay. Yeah. Who has the prototype for draw number? I don't know. Let's look for draw number. Oh my God! So many draw numbers. Draw number. Let's see. Someone has a prototype of this guy that has different. Yeah, this guy profiler has different parameters. Centered. Okay, too few arguments. Oh my God. Oh, Zola macro. Oh, awesome. Huh. Thanks, pass me. That was a pretty good call. Okay, so this is the profiler. We take a print screen with this. This is calling every frame. And now let's make one that we're not calling every frame. We could probably add a profiling just on that particular call. Let's see. But I don't think it's gonna be that bad though. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it changed at all. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see. Okay, you guys can. Okay, so we were about the same thing. This is like with set pause. So the game was a bit longer. Where are we supposed to measure that? Let's just see. This should probably be in the input. So let's see the input. Yeah, it's like 0.01 milliseconds. So we're gonna keep that every frame. But now we have to make sure that if we Alt Tab, we can. When you move the bar very fast, it sounds like the sound of a dove. Yeah, the idea would be to make like I didn't get 100% working. I like that in my other game better. This game, let's see. This game, I had the same thing because that was digital audio because you used the WNS, so it was a very smooth acceleration. But in the mouse, it's really chaotic, so the sine doesn't get a perfect wave, like a perfect movement. So we had to like put a lot of delay. It had a ton of problems with this, but I think it ended up pretty cool, I think. So yeah, I think I'm gonna keep that, but I just have to make sure. I'm gonna open the game here. I'm just gonna make sure that if I Alt Tab, I see the mouse. I do. If I Alt Tab back, I don't. So this is pretty cool, I think. I think we solved the problem 100%. Get the mouse to reappear. Let's add the vsync option to the config file. So instead of doing this, I'm gonna do like if sleep. I think I'm gonna add like limit frame rate or unlimited. I'm not sure. Let's see how our config file looks as of now. Like this. Let's do like locked FPS. Lock FPS equals false. I think that's correct. Dude, so cool to have done this this kind of config file parsing and stuff. That was pretty cool. That was last stream. So if we lock FPS, we're gonna sleep. Isn't there a solid way to prevent mouse from changing position when a game window is active? To prevent mouse from changing position when a game window is active, we are doing this, but we're doing this once a frame. Once a frame, we change that back. if I hide mouse, let's see, set cursor, let's see, well, hide cursor. If we set that to 0, I think we're not gonna have lock FPS. Let's see. Goes false. Yeah, let's see. If you see what's going on, see it's pretty locked. But for one frame, well, I suppose we could add that to the mouse movement message, and not the way we're doing. That may be more robust. But the idea is the same. The idea is every so often, for as long as frequently as we can, I suppose. I'm gonna set that to the center again. See, I'm going to save the diff. But the user can really get off the window if he chooses, right? So I don't know if there's anything we can do. As far as I know, I can't ask Windows not to change the mouse at all. I do have to do that myself. Because I always have this problem in games when I move the mouse quickly and I click something outside the game window. Yeah, but I suppose this is Windows not having a very solid way for games to control 100% of the desktop. Okay, so I'm gonna blame that on Windows. And as far as I know, this is the best solution we can do. And I did talk to people on the Handmade Network about this, and they said that this solution is pretty common to just set that back to the center by hand and click that. So, in defense of our game, in order to do this, I suppose you have to move and click the same frame. Let me see if I can try to create that. Let's make a very small window, and let's try to, just by clicking, get that off the screen. So we have a very small window, which is kind of cute. And if yeah, see, I can't at all. Oh, I can't. No, I can't. I can't, yeah. Okay, so I just moved the window way to the side. So, yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty bad. Oh my god. So, exactly. It's not 100% robust if you are on a window mode. I suppose you have two monitors, right? That's why you're asking. I'm going to have to test this on two monitors. But in this game, you have to move and click the same frame. But it's kind of... I thought you could clip a mouse movement to a rectangle, though. You probably can. But if you clip, and that was the problem we had originally, if you clip, you're not going to get the diff. See, you're going to have like this behavior, like he's moving and then he can't move anymore. That's not what we want. I mean, I suppose you could clip. I suppose you are correct. Yeah. I'm giving note this like could clip to rect and get the diff every frame. So the problem with clipping is that you're going to limit the movement, right? This is the problem with clipping. However, if you do this every frame, though, and we're going to limit to half the screen per frame, which is kind of okay, I suppose. Unless it's super sensitive. In this case, this is not going to be very good. So I'm not entirely sure. But I don't know. I'm going to add this like... I don't even have like a want to do thing. I'm going to add this at the end. But yeah, it's kind of hard. It should be way easier, man, to do things like this. Because every game needs it. To be like old school, add a cheat by activating press right, left, 8B, which gives you a fucking huge number of points. We're probably gonna make our render really slow if you try to make a fucking huge number of points display on screen. So I think I'm gonna have to do OpenGL rendering for that. Yeah. So let's finish adding the vsync thing. Do we have a config? We do, config parser. Let's do a string lock FPS equals. Is that lock or locked? Lock FPS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 digits on this guy. And if we find, and we could probably add like a macro for this, but we're not gonna have that many commands. Lock FPS string. Maybe you clip a mouse if it's hidden only. But that wouldn't change it though. I mean, even if it's hidden, it's there, right? But the user can't see it. we have to get the diff and put it back, even if it's hidden. That's what we would do in every frame. Or like the mouse moved, so get how much it moved, move it back, and tell the game how much it moved. If we limit that movement, we can only see this movement per frame, which, as I said, I don't think it's big of a big problem. But yeah. Okay, and we're gonna set the lock FPS to the parse value. Okay. Now let's see if this is working. So, you know what? I'm gonna set the default to true. To be honest. Oh, I want the default to be true. Oh, I could do it like this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. And in the window, I'm gonna do, yeah, whatever. This will work. I can also do this guy as true if I don't find a config file. Let's see. So we are locked. If I come here, set this to false, we're not locked. So people can unlock the FPS should they want to, which is probably a good idea in this game, to be honest, because we're not using OpenGL and we may have like a little bit of a lag and stuff. That was super easy to add. We did a good job with our API and stuff. Okay, when you start to clip it, but then your game doesn't have any menuing when the mouse is visible. Tricky situation. Exactly, man. But again, even if I had, I don't know if I wanted to do the Windows mouse anyway. I think I want to have my own mouse because I can change like sensitivity pretty easily and stuff, like we did. Which we added like a mouse sensitivity variable here for our config file. And so if I had a menu with a visible mouse, I probably have the Windows mouse invisible, have my mouse visible. That's probably what I would do. And that's what Kingdom Come Deliverance did. I was playing that on the free weekend last weekend, and there was a bug where the mouse appeared when I alt-tabbed back to the game. There was a lot of small bugs, very small bugs, but there were, because it's a huge game. That was pretty cool though. Very well done. Awesome to be such a small studio and stuff. But I could see the Windows mouse and their mouse, they were at a different position and different sensitivities and stuff. Because I was also playing at a lower resolution. So yeah, I would also just do what I was doing at this point anyways. KDC, yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance, yeah. That was pretty well done. You know, that's the thing, man. I really want to strive to start making more and more complex games. Not hopefully not as complex as they by myself and stuff, because it's like impossible. But to be able to understand more, right? Good gameplay performance. That's the thing, man. When you build a game this complex on top of a commercial engine, and you don't have like the engine developers inside the team, you are in a bad shape. It's impossible, like really impossible. Even on a big studio like EA that uses its own Frostbite engine, when the BioWare team did like did the Mass Effect, the problematic one, BioWare didn't have the engine team for Frostbite. So they didn't know the engine that well, and they couldn't improve that, and they couldn't fix the bugs. Same thing in this case. They used Cry, and they did have engine developers improving the engine and fixing bugs and stuff, but since it's not the engine developers, the real ones, it's kind of impossible to make that robust and bug-free and good performance and stuff. That's the difference between PUBG and Fortnite in terms of performance, right? PUBG used the same engine, right, as Fortnite, but the difference is Fortnite was built by the guys who knew the engine for real because they developed it. So they can get a lot better performance, more robustness, overall improvements and stuff. So that's why I think making our own engine is really, really good. They could manage the original trilogy as well. Yeah, well, but I suppose this last one was worse. Come on. It became like a huge meme, man. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't even imagine how chaotic it was. You know, that's why we were talking about, you know, working for companies and stuff. Imagine being a developer, spending years of your life in this game, and having like this crazy ship time because you had to ship anyways. And it was actually no particular people's fault. except maybe, I don't know, the very early producers that organized the whole thing and decided some very high level stuff. But that was really hard because they didn't have enough information as well. So, and they probably are the best people to make the call. So it was probably impossible to make a better job out of this. But I don't know, it's not a very comfortable position to be at, working on a studio like this, working, you know, for years, man, 4 years, 5 years, whatever, to at the very end have these problems. That's why my game 3.5 years I pushed that back a lot. That's what I meant, to be able to ship that in a good state. And it was like a very good state either. It was just like a decent state, good enough state, I suppose. They had to build their own sequence on top of some, yeah. They had to build their own sequence stuff on top of existing one for some reason. Sequence to mean like cinematics stuff. Yeah, you know, I really want to do like a project. It's gonna be a pretty small one, not like, yeah, that's what you mean. I really want to do like a cinematics tool later on. It's not gonna be as complex as they use, but I watched a talk about the Witcher 3 one. It's really awesome, and the way like the tool talks to the runtime. That's a very nice game engine challenge to do. I really want to do this. This will be a nice stream series one day, I suppose. Maybe do like 2D for now with text and events and camera and lighting first. I would probably do an offline tool for that and not inside the engine. They build their own for dialogues and it's buggy and limited. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of hard because it's such an important part of the game. Like Kingdom Comes, like more than half of the gameplay is that system. It's like dialogue system, cutscene system. So it has to be really, really good, but it's really, really hard as well because they don't have enough time because there's a lot of content. So you have to automate the lip sync and it looks bad. So it's really hard. You know what? Return the mouse. I don't think we're gonna care about this. I'm gonna note this as an improvement to the platform layer, like Windows improvements. Make the fail more evident. I don't think I'm gonna work on this, man. I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's kind of finicky, and I think it'll be good enough for now. We have a cool animation, so we learned on stream how to do awesome level transitions. So we can do this. It's not like we can't. It's just like it's a lot of work, and I think it will justify because I want to ship this game and start working on new things as well. They should have just used existing one, but they probably needed a lot more. That's the thing. That looks really cool. Yeah, man, I loved adding that. It was the first time I programmed without an engine, a level transition like this. And that's another thing. I mean, to program this exactly the way we want is pretty easy. But in my game that I use on Unreal, for instance, I had to be stuck at Unreal's like synced level transition thing. Like sometimes it has like a couple of hitches. So you can't have a very smooth screen. Let me just close the door here, for instance. There's a weird noise. So you can't have smooth transitions between levels in Unreal. So people use like level streaming and things like that. That's what we used in the end. But it's kind of finicky. When we build an engine and we understand the transitions, it's pretty easy to like control that. That was pretty cool, and we did a lot of stuff. Let me see, what day was it? It was one of the later days, whatever. Like transition. Yeah, it's around here. I don't know where it is, but it's here. I don't know. Better menu, optimizing, gameplay, improvements, robustness, animated, level transitions. Here it is, episode 20. Pretty cool. So what's next? Well, I think I'm gonna end the stream and call that the finished game. What about a pixel art game? I do want to do, dude. I have so many cool ideas, man. But no, this is what I'm gonna do. I am going to, because I'm gonna tell you first, just because there's a lot of people streaming, watching, and you help me a lot, so you kind of deserve what I have in line. So I think this game will be it. So review the size. Yeah, this I think we have to play test a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. Maybe for like 10 minutes or so, you can play, especially testers. Yeah, maybe. Oh, I don't know if we did that. I kind of had in my mind that I needed to do Tetris to make Tetris easier. I don't know if I got to do this or I didn't on stream. So where is it? It's in data. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I did or not. So I can probably take a look at this. So, but the idea is, after this stream is done, I had a lot of cool ideas. Like we discussed, like making these games, Donkey Kong, a Super Mario game, a Frogger. That'd be pretty cool. A Frogger as a breakout, or what is it that Jivas said? Arkanoid. Yeah. So I'm gonna make like these game modes as well, and make like an add-on for the game, whatever. It's also cool because everyone saw the whole thing being built on stream. It'll be cool to be able to play with a little surprise, right? So that's also important, I think. So I am going to, after the stream is done, I'm going to start working on these maps. Not all of them. I'm going to pick like 5 or so and work a little bit with these suggestions. So that's what I'm going to do afterwards. But that's going to be pretty quick, right? Because the game's pretty much done. It's just going to be like more levels. Then I want to start building a game engine, because I want to do more complicated games. And there's a lot of stuff like this whole Windows platform thing. We don't need to do that every time for every game, right? So the way I did, this game we wrote from scratch because I wanted to show the whole thing on stream. But the way I do with my other games that I don't write on stream, I just start copying things, right? Obviously, from things that I already wrote. However, since they're not structured to be copied, it's not very easy to copy, and sometimes you have to copy from different projects, and this one's pretty old, the other system, but it's pretty new, the rendering system, all crazy. So I want to formalize this into a game engine. It's going to be a 2D game engine, very simple to use, and in order to make the game engine, I have to make games, right? So I'm going to make a super simple game first, and then a pixel art game, and then a 2D game with more spreadsheet animations, then maybe with skeletal animations. That'll be pretty cool. So I want to make a lot of games, improving the complexity, and hopefully the game engine will be able to grow in a good manner. I have a lot of ideas about how to structure game engines in terms of like libraries and frameworks and engines. So I have a lot of cool plans ahead. But I do want to finish this first because I think this game deserves more levels, right? But I don't want to do this on stream because it's hard for me to get like a 4-hour or 3-hour and stuff span to stream. So it's kind of better just to work like 10 minutes, 15 minutes whenever I can, since it's just for my free time and stuff. So I'm not going to stream these guys. I'm probably going to stream parts of the game engine, but I don't think I'm going to stream the whole thing because I do want to do a lot quicker, and streaming does decrease productivity. So I want to stream when I have like a system like localization, for instance. I'm going to do the localization system for the game. Then I can stream that because it's going to be a self-contained system, which is pretty cool. However, I do want to keep you guys up to date on my YouTube channel with the progress, like the engine and stuff. So if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see the progress of the engine all the way from nothing, which I'm going to start in the next few weeks when I finish the game, when I launch the maps and stuff, all the way to hopefully a good engine. And if it's good enough, maybe I can make it available for you guys as well, if you guys want to use. If it's good to use, the idea is to make it really fun to make the game, right? So make it easier. Like this crash that we found, have to make it easier to reproduce the crash. The whole thing have to be really easy to make the games, both in terms of like tweaking. So I'm going to use like Handmade Heroes dynamic code reloading idea for the engine. I'm going to save the input, have input recording, and then if the game crashes, maybe I can go back to the previous input, try to reproduce the crash. That'll be pretty cool, man. I'm really excited about this engine. So that's the plan, and then I can do like more complicated games. I'm going to do like simple games, and I also have other ideas. I'm also doing like this tutorial series, how to do a simple game in C++, which is pretty cool. I think I may do a tutorial series where I do a game in OpenGL because people really like this. So I think I'm going to do a tutorial. Maybe I'm going to do like a Galagas kind of game, a shooter. I really like shooters, top-down shooters and stuff. Or yeah. So I think I'm going to do a tutorial as I do the game engine. So I'm going to have a small project, which is the tutorial, and a big one, which is the game engine. Then I'm going to do more complicated games with the game engine. Hopefully 3D. Hopefully 3D. Because like I said, man, I do want to do games as complex as this game again. And even more complex. I have so many cool ideas for games. That I have to keep going. Okay, so let's do just a little bit more playtesting. Just so we can say that the game is done officially. And next stream will be the release stream next week. Because that'll be it, man. So I'm going to make it full screen for you guys so we can test the whole thing. So I'm going to remove the debug options, going to remove the profiling, remove the development. I'm going to make you guys full screen. And then let's see. I don't think I'm going to play full screen though, because I can't see the chat if I play full screen. I do want to play Tetris more though. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to play full screen. Yeah, I'm not going to play full screen because I can't see you guys. So we're going to have to live with the development mode online, which is like assertions and full screen stuff. Okay, so let's play Tetris, because this was the harder of the levels. Pretty cool, the animation that we added, like the raw animation with the sound. Oh man. I may actually give up on that guy. Okay, no, I don't give up. Like, oh crap, strong blocks. Oh man, strong blocks. This level sucks. Because you don't have much time. Okay, good, good. I think it's pretty manageable now. It's hard, but it's not like impossible. Yeah, so now that glitched because we now have rotating blocks, so they rotate from time to time. We could reset the rotation. At that point, maybe we're gonna do this. Reset the rotation whenever we start that mode. Awesome. Now this is the crazy part. Yeah, this I think I have to reduce the number of guys spawned in this. I think I already did though. I don't remember. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is like super crazy. Just for fun. And you can really see the stereo thing happening. I think that'll be it, man. I think it's a good difficulty. I don't think it's impossible. Awesome. No smooth rotation. I don't think I didn't want to add smooth rotation. We could. Our render supports it. See, we do have. Well, yeah, we could make that smooth rotation, but since Tetris doesn't have a smooth rotation, I didn't think it made sense for the rotation to be smooth. It's not very Tetris like. So rotate. See, so this is the thing. I rotate every 2 seconds the blocks. Rotate T. Rotate I. So all I have to do is to see whenever I spawn the rotated blocks, which is if they have a specific shape index. Dude, this is super hard coded. So let's see, shape index. Dude, this is such a bad system. Okay, so do we have like progress? We added a progress later on. I don't think it's fully featured. Should we be an inline? Yeah, exactly. A preview for next rotation, maybe. Maybe we could add a sound though. I think I'm gonna add a sound. That'll be good enough. Let's see. Rotate. See. If it's greater than 2, I'm gonna add a rotation, right? I'm gonna add sound, so play sound. Let's see. Oops. Let's see. Oh. We have the play sound. Old sound. This is the sound we want. We want an old sound. I have to put the volume really down. I'm gonna add the old sound because right now it looks incomplete or something. Yeah. But I think if I reset the rotation in the beginning, that will be a bit easier. And I'm also going to add like a couple of sound cues, like 1.3. Play the old sound whenever we rotate, and also like halfway there. So if rotate is greater to or equal than 1, I'm gonna say like if Tetris played rotation mid rotation sound, set that to false. Oh, I'm sorry, set that to true, and then do the same thing. Maybe you can add animated rotation, but it's a very fast one. That's a good idea. Oh, but oh, I think we didn't actually rotate the blocks. I think, yeah, we didn't actually rotate the blocks. We moved them. That would be cool though, to do a really fast rotation. Let's see how easy it's gonna be. Let's do like player mid played rotation sound. And then I'm gonna set this guy to false again. Yeah, but let me do the two things I'm gonna do. First of all, I'm gonna reset the rotate T whenever I start that sequence. So I'm not sure when that sequence. I spawn 2 shapes, correct? And then I rotate. Let's see, plus equals to 2. Don't have, let's see, equals to. I don't remember how we do this. Let's see, progress. Let's see again. Every instance. Ah, okay. I think that's it. Yes. Spawn shapes. Shapes spawned. Okay, so this is the first time around, right? Yeah. If we spawned 1 shape, we spawn the 2 shapes. If we destroyed all the blocks and spawn 2 shapes, post level spawn shapes plus plus. This is what I kind of expected. The post level spawn shapes. Oh, plus equals to 2. This is the one. I suppose maybe you can add animated rotation. It's a very fast. Yeah. Let's see, play sound. Because let's see, play sound. Because I don't think we didn't actually make a collision system except rotation, just our rendering. So it has to be fast enough that the player wouldn't care if he hits the ball. But I don't know. Tetris level state. Tetris rotate 0. So this is gonna be a little bit more robust. Rotate. Because we're not going to rotate immediately. We're gonna wait. You know what? We'll probably set that to minus like 5 or something. So it's gonna take a while to start rotating. Let's see. Yeah. So this is the sound that rotation will make. But I have to test whether or not I have rotated blocks and stuff. Maybe okay, smoke particles we can do a lot of particles. Yeah, I think that'll be good enough. These 2 differences. Yeah, smoke particles was a good call. Let's see if we have to make the sound also only appear on that case. Oh crap. Yeah. So it takes a while, and then nice. So yeah, I kind of liked. Could you explain the way you type that before your structs? Like this. This is C. In C, it's kind of weird. You can't do like struct foo, whatever, and then do like foo b. You can't do this. So you have to make that as specific type with in C. You have to do this type def, the name, right? C++ you can do this, but C you have to do this type def thing. So I don't do this, guys, because you don't have to, because you already did down here. However, if I include like a pointer to itself inside here, I do have to like pre-declare the struct, so like struct foo, something like this, like this. Well, yeah, but then I have to do it here, so that's like a namespace or something. Well, for some reason, old school programmer. Yeah, this is pretty old school. Yeah, but I put type def before the struct word. You mean struct? Oh, type def struct. Okay. Type def struct foo, like this. Yeah, it could work. I mean, foo a. Do you? Is that it? But it says identifier a. Okay, expected the semicolon. Yeah. Ignored. Type def ignored. Okay, let's see. Type def ignored left of foo when no variable is declared. So you have to do it like this. Okay, so you have to do the type def struct foo. I don't know, man. I don't like typing foo twice. Yeah. I mean, and also I kind of obfuscate the fact that it's a foo, because the fact that I'm type defing, it's really not important at all, right? So if I kind of so if I make, I don't know, it's kind of a style. I don't really care, to be honest. It's kind of a style choice, but I don't have like a preference. It could be either way. Type def type name type is struct foo. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I suppose that's more consistent. I suppose, right? With the rest. Is this SDL? No, man. This is no libraries. This is our rendering thing. We have a draw rect. Oh, see, this is our transfer rotate rect. So if you want to rotate rectangle, this is what we should use. It takes in an angle, then we build a matrix, then we multiply the matrix, then we run for every pixel, and then we optimize this thing here. It's running pretty well. No libraries. Everything we did live, and we did from scratch. It's awesome. But I recently tried to avoid type defing my structs. Yeah, I'm probably going to move to C++ when I do the engine project, like I said. Because, for instance, when I try to implement the Steam library on the Steam SDK is C++, and it's very C++, like with structs and with type defs and templates and classes and all sorts of crazy C++ stuff. So I couldn't implement that in C. I could probably do some hack. I did implement the beginning of it, but since I can't put the overlay because it's not hardware rendered, I didn't even bother to put the game. That's why I didn't do anything on stream. I just did a test and it failed, so I didn't actually implement the Steam SDK. Yeah, but that's why I'm going to do C++ for the engine to be more compatible, because most people use C++ in the interesting and all that stuff. But I'm going to be pretty much like C, pretty much what I'm doing here. Okay, let's add some particles. Oh, and the audio thing. So let's go back to levels plus equals 2. So with your progression 3, we should be able to add the sound. So play sound. So let's see, old sound. So this will only happen if Tetris progression is 3, not progressive, is 3. Then we can do this. Same thing here. If Tetris progression equals 3, so that'll be enough of visual feedback. And then whenever I rotate the guys, block relative. Oh man, I don't even have a strong rotation thing. So I don't know. It's kind of kind of hacky. GitHub. I don't have a GitHub for the project, but you can download the whole source code individually in my itch.io page. Let me link you to the itch.io page. Here. You can click download now, and then you'll be able to access each of the episodes' source code and executable. You are welcome to give me a tip if you want, but if you just want to download, you just click no thanks. Then you'll be able to download which day you want to download. Yeah, this is the link. I think it's C99 since it's accept in place variable declarations. Yeah, it's C99. By C means C99. Yeah, exactly. Progression. I mean, progression is not a member of Tetris. Level progression. Because the thing is, C++ do have a couple cool things. I really like default arguments for some reason. I think it really helps me. I even prefer default arguments than overloaded procedures. I think default arguments make it really easy to not worry about like the calling convention. So I am going to use a couple of features, but it's going to be pretty light. So I'm going to add like a Tetris like rotate. Does this get called before or after? This is the simulate level. Let me see the calling order. I simulate the level. This is the game. I simulate level, and then I simulate block for level. Okay, so this is okay. I can set this rotate this frame equals true, and then I'm gonna set this to false every frame. Rotate this frame. Okay, now whenever I simulate block for level, if I'm Tetris, okay, if I rotate this frame, just level state.tetris, I rotate this frame, I'm gonna add a particle explosion. So particles, let's see how they spawn particle. We have spawn particle explosion. So the explosion takes a count. Let's do, I don't know, 5. Yeah, a P. The P will be the block P. The DP scale, I don't even know these parameters. Let's see a particle explosion. Yeah, let me copy this call. And let's see how that will look. That'll look a lot more finished, though. I think it can make it a little bit bigger, though. From my understanding, Struts does not like the C way of typecasting, and thus there are overloaded functions and templates, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I mean, my problem is not what they did; it's more like how they did it. It's very important to have like a runtime type information system nowadays for meta programming. But the way they did this is really ugly. That's why I'm looking for to JAI, Jonathan Blow's language, because I think it will be a nice mixture of like C and C++. I mean, it's a lot more complicated than C, so I'm kind of a little bit skeptical because I really like simple things. But I think it will be good enough to justify like the complex features, because he's a good designer, so it's gonna, yeah, J-Hype indeed, man. He's a great designer, so he's gonna design a language, it's gonna be a great language. That's the way I'm thinking about it. That's why I am on the JAI hype train. Oh, that was almost an awesome move. Oh crap! Oh my god. I should probably have a cheat. I think I added a cheat code at some point in the stream that I was programming. Somebody suggested to add the cheat code, and I did. I think I'm gonna add that back, or maybe at least search for that because I don't remember how to cheat. Let's see. Yeah, okay, let's see. Okay, I'm not resetting the particles. Oh, it's good to see that our rendering can take that many particles. So 10 was too much. Couple problems, right? 10 was too first of all the particles. Not this 10. This 10 was good enough. Like more particles. And I have to do like set this guy to false. It's weird. I thought I was setting that every frame to false. So rotate this frame. Oh, only if it's greater than 2. So this thing. Y4 coder. I really like it. I think it's easy to use. Has some awesome features like having like I don't worry about indentation at all. And in fact, if I ever have to type tab again or space, I'm going to be really pissed because this is great programming like this. You don't have to worry about indentation, about organization. This is the biggest feature. Also because it's super open, and at some point I'm going to make an awesome customization layer. And it's really fast, reliable. I really like it. I think it's due to not having to deal with the header file. How then is it you build to avoid them? Okay, yeah, I forgot that. If you're doing what you're doing, the chances are you'll do a good job. So I decided to understand the hype for modules. Yeah, dude, header files are one of the worst things ever to program because you know that small. You remember that we had to do like for the profiler, we had to add the for declaration. I have to change this for declaration that was inside the if profiler. Imagine this for every function, right? Dude, this is so terrible. Why would you want to program like this? So I avoid them at all costs by having the Unity build. And how is this different from Vim? I haven't used Vim, so I can't say exactly how is it different. But it's more like Emacs. So it's based on Emacs. So it's more like a lot. For coders, a modal text editor. It's not a modal. It's short. Also virtual spacing. Exactly, man. Virtual white spacing is the biggest feature. Virtual white spacing is awesome. So that's why I really like it. So it's so intuitive because I can just move with the arrow keys, whatever, and type with the normal keys. So this is great, I think, for like easy to usability, whatever, if that's a word. And it's also super open in C. So I am going to add a lot of more features and stuff. It's going to be super fast. I'm really excited. So I really like it because of these features. Yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable with modal, I think, even though it may be faster, better for the fingers and stuff. I'm not sure. Okay, so this was fixed. I suppose. I think that was it. Oh, and 10, yeah. It was like -10 that I added. It was like rotation T, rotate T. -0.5. I think I can just make that 0, to be honest. Do you mean ISO standard and working compilers? I like the set. All right, with Control A, go to the position you want. Go to the position you want. Things. Control A. Yeah, I do this with Control. Yeah, I think you're referring to this way of like setting the marker or whatever, and then operating on that. I do that with Control Space, and I also like that a lot. I really got used to it. That's the Emacs way, I suppose, right? Yeah. I used Emacs for a very short period of time but if that's the Emacs way, I really liked the way it took a bit of time to get used to it, but that was worth it. Yeah. Oh man, I really want to close the stream in a bit. It's getting kind of late here, but I also want to get this 100% because this will be the last coding stream. That's for real. The last stream, the next stream will be releasing stream. Maybe we can do like a day 1 patch or something if we need. I'm just kidding. Hopefully it'll be 100%. Only 20 people use for coder. Yeah, I mean, as long as Alan keeps doing a great job and doesn't get like demotivated for not having a lot of people using it. But I think it's a gradual process. I mean, it's kind of hard to sell tools for programmers and stuff, especially like non-mainstream. And like Visual Code, like Visual Studio Code, really like did a yeah, that's awesome. How weird does that look? Dude, is that really bad or just a little bit bad? I said that incorrectly. I meant that okay, talking about modules and stuff. Okay, so a couple of things, man. I wish particles were behind blocks. I'm not sure how this will affect the general look of the game. Oh, probably gonna be pretty bad. So, but in this case, I could probably add the same color. I have like block color. Hopefully, I do have. So let's go back and see. Now let's tweak the parameters. So first of all, explosion. Let's see the count. The count looks pretty cool. The DP scale is how fast it's gonna scale. I suppose, right? DP scale. DP scale. Let's see. No, it's just for the random thing. Okay, so it doesn't matter. The base size, I think I can make that a little bit bigger. Oh, I add that to the wrong thing. And I can make that a little bit faster as well, like 0.1. Maybe like 0.7. So we're rotating a single block. I am not even rotating the blocks, man. Oh, you wanted a particle on the whole thing? This is pretty hacky, man, the way I'm doing this. It's pretty hacky. I think I even drew the shapes. I don't even remember. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't drew it. I have the base shapes here, and I rotate them in code. Like I see whatever position this guy is and whatever position he should be for every block. But I think it won't be that bad, to be honest. Let me see if I have a cheat code. Game. Blocks destroyed. Yeah. Yeah, button right. Let's see. Well, that just sets. It doesn't actually destroy the blocks. Yeah. Oh, button down destroy the blocks. Okay, this one. Dan, my man, Zay, Dan. How are you doing, man? You know, today's the last stream of coding. We are almost done with the game. Yeah, down, destroy the blocks. Yeah, the small blocks, they are a single block, but the big blocks are like several different blocks. It's so cool to pop the blocks like this. So let's see. Okay, I like the color, but the speed is not very fast though. Explosion, which is the speed. I just started relearning C. Dude, C is really cool, man. It's awesome to like go. It's like going like on a vacation to like a desert beach or something, because there's almost nothing there. You really value what you have there, and you can build awesome stuff with things that are there. That was a really weird comparison. Oh my god, let's go. We're almost done. Let's go. Just finish these particles explosion thing. Explosion. DP scale is also base size, base life, color, spawn particle explosion. Is the DP scale used for the DP? Yes. So I'm going to increase explosion. Yeah. Increase this like a lot and this like a little. And maybe like yeah, 0.7 is good. When is it going to be released? It's going to be released probably next week. Pretty sure. All I have to do is like send it to Steam and make sure it's approved. And it's already on Steam. So here's the Steam page for the game, man. I'm gonna drop it for people to like wishlist and stuff. It's gonna be free, but it's also cool to like be notified when the game's done and stuff. So yeah, we have a Steam page already. It's awesome. When I started the game, I had no idea that it would be so cool and have like these kind of animations and stuff. So I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Really happy. And yeah, today's the last stream where we're gonna code. And next stream we are going to release the game. So it's gonna be the release stream. We're gonna play the game. We're gonna talk about whatever people want to talk about. Like, I'm gonna tell you how I got into programming or whatever. And let's see. Okay, that was a little bit over the top. Maybe just make the life shorter. Maybe twice as maybe half as long, like this. And then I think it would be maybe a little bit smaller as well. Like 12. Or maybe we keep 18 and make this guy smaller. Yeah, I think this would be good. Let's go. Where are the blocks? Yeah, let's see. How does that look? Does that look finished? I think it looks kind of finished. What do you guys think? Does that look finished enough? Maybe I can make that too. Nope. Come on, man. I'm not going to add smooth rotation for the blocks. It's gonna be a lot of hard work, and I don't think it'll be justifiable in terms of like polish and stuff. But the particles were a good call, and the sound. Particles and sound were a good call though. Maybe for a DLC, hopefully. Maybe for a DLC we can add. Oh, let's see. I kind of like the way it is now. Yeah, it's not like the most beautiful thing in the world, but I think it shows that something happened. $5 for smooth rotations. Dude, I thought it was serious. I thought it was serious. I mean, as a way to improve the game later on. Well, maybe people could buy the smooth rotations for $5. In fact, for itch.io, you can buy the entire game for free. You can buy the game for free. That doesn't make sense. You can download the game for free, or you can do it like for $5. So maybe you can add like $20.05, right? And then you can download the source code for the game, implement smooth rotations, and then there'll be smooth rotations and $20. How about that? That's the best plan ever. Dude, I think we're done. I think we're done for the game. I think we are. I think we're not going to make these things, then sell it because it's public domain. Exactly. You're gonna download, make you could do this. You could do the smooth rotations and then sell it as a DLC for the game. That could be pretty cool. A good business plan. Okay, so I think that'll be the end, guys. That will be the end for the development of the game. The game is developed. It is ready. You know, we've come a long way, and I know I've been saying this for like the past 10 streams or so, but we did. You know, we checked. There was like 70 hours, 75 hours, whatever, of programming live, which is a huge challenge. It was a huge, but I learned a lot. Today I learned a lot. I learned a lot about debugging some really hard multi-threaded code. That was really hard, but it was really fun, really great. Thanks for everybody who came along and watched the game. We're going to have a launch stream, so you can keep an eye on that. That would be pretty cool. We're going to talk all sorts of fun things. So, yeah. You can watch the entire development on YouTube. From the very first line of code that we wrote everywhere from like, do you have a date for that? I do. Unless plans change, and you can follow me on Twitter if plans change. I'm gonna post that on Twitter, twitter.com/DanielZaydan, and I'm gonna post that. But if plans don't change, which I don't think they will, I'm going to release the game and do the live stream Friday, the 20th of September. What time is good for you guys? Give me a time. What time is good for you guys? We can do the live stream. Maybe we can do the same time we did today, which was like, I don't know, 5 p.m. Brazilian time, BRT. So 5 p.m. Brazilian time, which is like GMT -3. So right now, yeah. So if you do like so if you do from 5 to 9, 4 hours, maybe a bit too much. Might not make it, but hopefully it'll be fun. Yeah, maybe we can do a little bit later, like I don't know, 7. Oh, today's Wednesday, right? Oh, today's Thursday, so it's gonna be Friday 7 maybe. Yeah, it's gonna be around that time. You can follow me on Twitter because I'm gonna post that when I know exactly the time, because it all depends if Steam will approve and stuff. So it may actually be pushed back a week or something. And I'm just going to put all sorts of crazy stuff there. And now that the game's done, you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because my new projects are probably not going to be all live streams. So it's on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/DanZaydan, where you can find the new videos, right? And I'm going to do all sorts of crazy stuff, new games, a new engine, which is going to be pretty cool, live streams, tutorials, how to program games in C++ and C. When Jai comes out, we're gonna do some Jai programming. Oh man, it's gonna be so cool. That'll be cool. That'll be cool. Maybe we can do like a game engine in Jai, like getting bits of pieces like from Jonathan Blow's engine, from like Handmade Heroes engines, from my engine, all sorts of crazy stuff. So there are crazy stuff ahead. So if you wanna follow me on YouTube channel, which there's gonna post the most important stuff. You can also wishlist the game we've been developing, because now it's ready, man. I can't believe it. I kind of miss it already, and I'm still live streaming at this moment. So yeah, so that's it. That's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this live stream and all other live streams. I certainly have enjoyed programming the games for you guys. Next stream will be just a fun, playing the game, talking. No, not really programming. Unless there's a huge bug and you have to fix that. that could be interesting. Hopefully not. We did do a lot of testing today. Today was pretty cool. Okay. So if that's it, I will thank everybody for watching every live stream, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.